A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Well, the Aces are helping Cokie through a party for his former fellow orphans at the orphanage where they adopted him 2 years ago. Jane visited the orphanage to make the necessary arrangements and found the Mr. and Mrs. Craig in charge now, strict, severe, and unsympathetic toward the orphans. She ran into several other exciting incidents there, all of which she's about to explain to Mr. Race and Marge as we look in on the living room of the bungalow now. Listen.
Jane, how are you coming along with that party for Cokie?
Well, dear, it's a long story.
I withdraw the question. I
want to hear it, Jane. You go ahead and tell it. But don't make it too long a story, will you?
But, Marge, it is long and touching, too.
Oh, a long and touching story.
Yes.
Well, what's touching about it?
Well, you see...
I just wanted to know how the plans are coming along for the party. I don't see why you have to drag it out.
Because so many exciting things happen.
Well, when? Where?
Yesterday and today at the orphanage.
What do you mean exciting?
Well, in the first place, Mrs. Duffy isn't there anymore. You know, that sweet old lady that used to have charge of it. She was the one we talked to when we got Cokie.
Yes, we know. Go ahead, Jane.
Well, in the first place, she's not there anymore. In the second place, Mr. and Mrs. Craig are there instead. In the fourth place...
wait a minute. You skipped third place,
I know. I'm coming back to it pretty soon.
Oh.
In the fourth place, I know it's a lot of money, but it's the least they'll take.
What?
Just a second. What's a lot of money? It's the least we'll take.
$25, Mr. and Mrs. Craig.
$25?
Now, don't fly off the coop, dear. I'll explain it. I told you it was a touching story. I'm touching you for $25.
Oh, you're... Now, just a minute here. Cokie told us he had $20 saved up to throw this party for the kids.
Yes, I know.
All he wants me to do is to provide the car so he can drive up in style. I consented to do that, but this $25 you're talking about...
Yes, what's that for, Jane? The $25?
Well, if you'll let me say something, I'll try to explain it.
I wish you would.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Craig said they'll rent me the banquet hall for $25.
Rent it to you to throw a party for their orphans? Well, I think they'd be tickled to death.
Well, I thought so too, but he said
I don't care what he said. We're not spending $25 to rent a banquet hall. I never heard of such a thing.
But I promised him we'd take it.
Well, you shouldn't have. How can you promise a thing like that?
Well, I thought I was going to find a lot of money.
Well, you what?
Jane, where did you think you were going to find a lot of money?
Well, that's one of the things that happened there. Mr. and Mrs. Craig were talking to me in the office there, and they got a phone call, and they had to go out, both of them. And they left me there alone. Well, pretty soon a door opened, and a little orphan girl came in. She talked real soft, and she said her father and mother used to be very rich, and they buried a lot of money someplace. And she gave me a piece of paper with the directions how to find the money. And she said, when I find it, she'll give me half, but not to tell anybody. So that's where I thought I was going to get a lot of money.
Isn't this awful?
What happened? Was the money there?
No, it was just a joke.
A joke?
Yes, Cokie told me about it afterwards. All the kids call her Mrs. Astorbill.
They call who? This little girl?
Yes, because she acts like she's got a lot of money. She plays a joke on anybody that comes there, Cokie said. But how could I tell? She did it so good. She's a regular actress. Why, I bet she's as good as Norma or Joan Croft. Well, anyhow, Rochelle Hudson.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she sure pulled the ball over my eyes. And you don't have to sit there thinking you wouldn't fall for it. I bet you'd have thought the same thing I did.
Now, wait a minute. Did you actually go out and dig around for this money?
No, I was going to, but Cokie told me about it. And when I went back there today, a little boy tried to play the same kind of a joke on me.
A little boy?
Yes. I was talking to Mr. Craig, and he had to go out of the office again. And the door opened, and this little boy came in, and he started talking real soft. And he wanted to give me a letter. Well, I told him I knew the joke now, but he begged me to take it. He was so cute, I took it anyhow, just to make him humorous.
Well, what was that? More hidden treasure?
I guess so. I didn't even read it.
Well, you didn't read it?
No, I've got more things to do planning this party.
Well, where is it? What? The letter the boy gave you.
Oh, in that wastebasket under the desk.
Oh, let's read it. I'll get it, Jane.
Oh, Marge, this is no time for joking. I've got work to do.
Yeah, I'll say you have. It's going to be worth getting $25 out of me for a banquet hall so Cokie can throw a party.
But, dear, he's got his little heart set on it.
Well, his little heart won't be broken, Jane.
It will, too.
Oh.
This is very important to him. And I think it's very sweet of Cokie to want to remember all his old friends this way.
Of course it is, and I was in favor of it, but if it's going to run into big money...
No letter here, Jane.
What?
The sausage acid. There's no letter.
Oh, I guess Laura threw it out in the trash.
Oh, here it is. Is this it on the floor?
I guess so. Don't bother me, Maud.
Oh, you don't mind if I read your mail, do you, Jane?
Oh, no, I don't care. Now, look.
No, you look. I don't know how we get mixed up in things like this. This started out to be a very simple party that Cokie wanted to throw for those orphans. It is okay with me, and it still is. I told you to leave him alone and let him throw it his own way, but you had to butt in, and the minute you did, things began to happen. Whenever you mix in, we get involved where it costs us.
Well, did I know they were going to charge for the banquet hall? Did I know Mr. and Mrs. Craig were there? Didn't I think Mrs. Duffy was still there and she'd be very glad to let us have the party?
Oh, go hire a hall.
Well, that's what I want to do. If you'll only just let me give me the $25. Oh, there he is now. Oh, you can't turn him down,
But,
dear.
Jane, if we start with this 25, it's going to cost us more and more before this thing's over.
Just a minute, and I know he'll just be heartbroken about it.
Oh, he'll understand. He can do it next year when he's got a little more money saved up if he
Hello,
wants.
Mother.
Hello, Cokie.
Uncle Ace home?
Yes, but he might as well not be. Come on in, Cokie. We were just talking about the party.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Uncle Ace.
Good evening, Cokie.
You're looking good, Uncle Ace.
Well, thanks.
Never saw you look better.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Have a cigar, Uncle Ace?
Cigar?
I bought it just for you. See, I even remembered the kind you smoke.
Yeah, well, thanks, but you shouldn't be spending your money for cigars for me.
Oh, that's all right. You'll do the same for me, wouldn't you?
Oh, so that's...
Oh, hello, Marge.
Oh, Cokie's talking to you.
Hey, this letter is no joke. Jane, who gave you this?
But Larry, I told you some little boy
Well,
out
this
your...
is serious. This is a cry for help.
A what?
If this letter is true, why, this is pitiful.
Well, what is it? Let me see it.
Wait a minute. Cokie, is this a joke?
What is it?
It's a letter some little boy gave me. You remember I told you about the joke that little girl played on me?
Mrs. Asterbilt?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You sure fell for that.
But I don't think this is a joke. Cokie, do you recognize this handwriting?
What?
Look at this handwriting.
Oh, printing, huh?
Yes, the letters are all printed, but who did it? Do you recognize this handwriting? Who could have written this, you know?
Oh, sure.
Well, who?
Shakespeare. Who?
Cokie, this is no time to joke.
I ain't joking. Shakespeare wrote that. I could tell the way he prints anywhere. He used to print all the time. Stories. And once he printed a little play we acted out for Christmas. That's Shakespeare, all right. Did Shakespeare give you this letter, Mother?
Shakespeare?
Yeah, did he give you this?
Cokie, a little boy at the orphanage gave it to me.
Yeah, a little fella with real blue eyes and kind of curly black hair.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare.
Oh, Cokie, how can you say that? Shakespeare had a beard.
A beard? Well, he's only 12 years old.
Poor, so he couldn't be.
But it is Shakespeare. I recognize the printing.
Oh, but
Oh,
Cokie...
stop it, G.T. This is serious.
Yeah, Shakespeare was serious all the time. Oh, swell little fella. But he was always thinking. I bet hardly a day goes by when he doesn't think. What does Shakespeare say in the letter?
Well, it's
Cokie, stop saying Shakespeare. How can
Jane, will you leave him alone?
But dear, he thinks F-H-A-K-S.
Marge, will you please read the letter so we can tell what's up?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, read it, Marge.
To whom it may concern.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare, all right. Always using big words.
Smart, Cokie, will you stop saying Shakespeare?
Oh, isn't this awful?
Well, don't you think I'd know Shakespeare if I saw him?
Yes, Jane. Yes, we do.
Well, don't tell Cokie it is when it isn't.
But it is, Mother.
Cokie, in the first place, Shakespeare had a beard. In the second place, he's been...
Oh, no, not Shakespeare. He's only 12 years old. He's a cute little shaver.
Shaver? You mean he shaved?
Jane, will you...
And that goes for me, too. Will you please stop that chattering so I can read you this letter?
Yeah, read the letter, Marge.
Well, thanks, Cokie. To whom it may concern.
Yeah?
Help. Please help. If the orphans in welfare orphanage beg you to save them from starving.
Starving? Who's starving?
Those kids out there at that orphanage.
Who's starving them?
If you let me finish this letter, I'll
Can't do that. Who's
Will you
doing that?
calm down and let her finish the letter? Go on, Marge.
read it over.
Yes.
Help. Please help. If Orphans and Welfare Orphanage beg you to save them from starving. Mr. and Mrs. Craig are cutting down on all our meals, and our rooms are terrible. They don't give us enough heat, and they cut
They
down...
are starving. They don't give them enough to eat.
Heat, it says. Heat? Yes. This Craig couple seems to be doing a very good job of making 50 orphans miserable. Isn't this a privately run orphanage, eh?
Yeah, private subscription, I think.
Oh, I wonder who's at the head of it.
Mrs. Duffy never did that when she was there, and I bet she wouldn't charge $25 for renting the banquet hall.
She wouldn't?
No, because we used to play in it all the time. We had a lot of fun there. They never used to rent it. I guess Mr. and Mrs. Craig don't know the rules.
Or they're making up some new ones of their own.
They can't do
Now,
that.
just a second, Cokie.
Come on, Grace, those kids are my friends.
I know. Now, we'll do something.
I've got to do something. What else you could say? Speak some more of the letter, Marge.
There's not much else. Our rooms are terrible. They don't give us enough heat, and they cut down on our outdoor games. Let's see. They say they haven't enough money to do the things we used to do. They don't treat the little children very good, and they hardly ever call the doctor when somebody gets sick. Help. Please help.
Help. Please help.
There, that proves it isn't Shakespeare.
Oh, Jane, will you stop with that Shakespeare?
Well, Shakespeare never repeats, and he did.
Well, at any rate, the Aces have the lowdown on conditions at the orphanage, and so has Cokie. Just what he plans to do about it and the party, we'll learn when next we meet the Aces.
Countdown for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire! From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future. Adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight's story, Mars is Heaven. When the first space rocket lands on Mars, what will we find? Only the ruins of a dead and deserted planet? Or will there be life? Intelligent life in some strange form that we can only imagine. Will we be welcomed with open arms? Or will the Martians treat us as invaders? Only one thing is certain. Someday, a giant metal ship will take off from Earth to travel through the black velocities, the silent gulfs of space, to descend at last into the darkness of the upper Martian atmospheres. And on that day, man will finally know the answers. The day we first land on Mars.
Now hear this. Approaching critical deceleration. Fasten gravity suits. Stand by to land.
There it is. We've intersected the course vector, sir.
All right, Mr. Lustig. Over to manual control.
Aye, sir.
Masters, sound general quarters. Aye, sir. Mr. Lustig, what do you make of the terrain?
There seems to be a heavy ground, Miss Captain. We won't be able to use the infrared lights.
And we'll have to come in on radar.
Isn't that a little risky, sir? Landing in the dark?
I'd rather run the danger of a blind landing, Lieutenant, than come in without the cover of darkness. Remember, we don't know what kind of reception is waiting for us down there.
Airspeed 500. Altitude now 4,000.
Bridge to engine room. Stand by for deceleration. Fire forward tubes 1 and 3. Ready as she goes, Mr. Lustig.
As she goes, sir.
Airspeed 100. Altitude 1,000.
Radar indicates a level stretch dead ahead, sir.
Skids down.
Skids checked.
Altitude 500. 4. 350. 3.
Up a point now. All right. Let's set her down. Cut the power. Masters, quiet battle stations.
Aye, sir. All secured, sir.
Well, gentlemen, we're now on Mars. April 20th, 1987. 4:33 Greenwich time. Enter that in the log, Masters.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, it's less than 2 hours till dawn. As soon as it's light, we'll send out a landing party. Masters, get me an all-over hookup.
We're all set, Captain.
Now hear this. All right, men. The smoking lamp is lit. Well, we're on Mars. The first man shipped from Earth to land here. We don't know what we're going to find or what dangers we may face. We're 17 men on an alien world. And it's up to us whether we ever get home again. The next few hours should tell the story. And I want instant obedience to all commands. I'll court-martial the first man who doesn't jump to when he's ordered. And one other thing. We may be on Mars, but this is still a United States naval vessel. Officers will conduct a personal and weapons inspection in 1 hour. That's all.
An inspection, Captain? Now?
Mr. Lustig, we've got an hour and a half to sweat out before we find out what's outside that airlock. I'd rather have a man worried about his stripes than about what's waiting outside on Mars.
Now hear this. Landing party report to forward airlock. Captain Black, Lieutenant Hingston, Lieutenant Lustig, and Dr. Horst report immediately to forward airlock. It's now landing time -5.
Well, they're paging us. You ready, Dr. Horst?
Yes, Mr. Lustig. As ready as I will ever be.
Come on. Let's get in the lock. Hingston, Lustig, and Horst reporting in the airlock.
Very well, sir. The captain will join you.
4 minutes to go. At least the captain would get here.
What difference does it make?
I just want to get it over with, that's all. Anybody got a cigarette?
Yeah, I think you're smoking too much, Lieutenant Lustig. Are you nervous?
Lay off, will you, Horst?
Wondering what's hidden outside underneath that ground mist? I've been giving it some thought. It'll be very interesting to find out. A very unusual planet, Mars.
Why?
It has an atmosphere. A wonderful thing, an atmosphere. Where you find one, you find life.
You mean Martians? What do you think they'll look like?
Who knows? Intelligent life can take many forms.
You mean they may have green skins and eyes on stalks or something?
The comic book conception is possible, of course. Or they may have developed far beyond us. Perhaps they have a science that can produce weapons far more dangerous than our atomic missiles.
You think we may have to fight our way out?
After all, we are invaders.
Now hear this. Landing time -2.
All right. We heard this. You know what I'd like to find outside that airlock? Good old Illinois. Ever been there, Lustig? Only Chicago. Well, you ought to see my hometown. Green lawns, big white houses. Sounds like my hometown. My grandmother used to have one of those iron deer on the lawn. Every Halloween we'd paint another color. One time we painted it black and white like a Holstein cow. Where does your family live, Dr. Horst?
I have no family. When I was a child, they were gassed to death in the Dachau concentration camp.
Tough.
No, it has its advantages. I have no ties on Earth. Nothing to lose now. I imagine I'm the only one on board who is free to enjoy our present peculiar position.
All right, Masters, you can button it up now.
Aye, sir.
Well, gentlemen, check your sidearms. In 1 minute, we'll be the first men to set foot on Mars. Quite an honor, eh?
As long as the medals are not awarded posthumously.
Still uneasy, Dr. Horst?
Captain Black, I've been uneasy ever since I can remember. On Earth and on Mars.
Well, 30 seconds. Give me the intercom phone, Lustig.
Yes, sir.
Masters?
Aye, sir.
Battle stations are to be manned until we return. If we're not back in 2 hours, I want no rescue party sent out. Blast off and save the ship, you understand?
Aye, sir.
All right. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lustig, open the outer airlock.
Aye, sir. It's fresh air.
Let's go. All right, now, take it easy. It's too dark to move fast.
Quiet, isn't it? Not even a wind. Can't see anything from this ground this time.
We don't know what's out here. All right, come on.
What the Captain, I could swear that sounds like a rooster.
I don't hear it anymore.
Very homely but unlikely sound. A rooster crowing on Mars?
Hingston?
Aye, sir.
Set that machine gun 25 yards to the flank. We'll stay here till the ground mist lifts.
Aye, sir.
What do you make of the ground, Horst?
Grass. Plain grass. You can see some large foliage there where the mist's thinned out.
What the? Hingston, hold your fire, you fool! I hit it, Captain. What? Some kind of wild animal. I hit it. I could see the tracers, but it's still standing.
Come on, Horst. Doctor, where are you?
Up ahead, admiring the wild animal.
Careful, Horst. Wait for us.
Don't worry, Captain. It's an iron deer. A lawn ornament.
Well, that's impossible.
It's hollow. Interesting, isn't it? A whitewashed Victorian iron deer sitting on a lawn in the middle of Mars.
I don't understand.
Look around. The mist's lifting.
Hey, Captain, look there. It's a house, a regular old-fashioned house.
But, sir, on Mars.
Good Lord. I haven't seen carved scrolls and gingerbread like that in years. Look at that port swing. The geraniums.
There. I told you it was a rooster, Captain.
Give me the glasses, Lustig. I want to take a look through that front window. Well, there's an upright piano. Some sheet music on it. Lustig, it's beautiful Ohio. It can't be, sir. Horst, do you think that civilization of 2 planets could be identical?
I don't know. That specific variety of geraniums is only 50 years old on Earth.
Is it logical that they should develop in Mars? How about that porch swing of the piano and beautiful Ohio? Why, it's impossible.
Captain Black, this looks like the town I was born in.
Well, it looks like my hometown, too.
I thought of something, sir. It's the only solution. Maybe we're not the first ship to reach Mars from Earth.
Don't be ridiculous, Lustig.
Oh, how else can you explain it? Suppose some scientists got together. They invented some spaceship and planted a colony here. That's the only answer.
That's impossible, Lustig. Been space travel, it couldn't be secret. Do you have any idea what ships cost, what industrial power is needed? No, there's got to be some logical reason.
I think perhaps we might find out, Captain. The light just went on in that house.
Kingston, cover that door with the machine gun.
Aye, sir.
All right, come on, Horst. We're going to ring that doorbell. There's got to be a scientific answer to all this.
And there's something moving in there.
Stand back, Horst. Give me a clear shot.
Are you sure a bullet can stop a Martian?
Steady now.
Can I help you?
All right. Well,
If you're selling anything, it's much too early.
No, wait just a minute. What town is this?
What do you mean? Are you census takers?
No. We're strangers here. We want to know how this town got here.
Is this a game?
No, it's not a game. We're from Earth.
From where?
From Earth.
Do you mean out of the ground? Are you sure you're feeling well?
Madam, we came in a flying ship across space. We're from the 3rd planet, Earth. This is Mars. Now do you understand? Mars.
You go away now, you hear? I'll call my husband from upstairs and he'll chase you. Go on.
But this is Mars, isn't it?
This is Green Lake, Wisconsin, in the United States of America. Bounded on the east by the Atlantic and on the west by the Pacific. Now go away. Goodbye.
Horst, Do you suppose it's really possible? I've got to find out more about this.
I told you I'd call my husband. Now you go away.
You've got to tell me one thing first. What year is this?
Year? 1928, of course. For goodness sake.
You hear that, Horst? And we know it's 1987, and we know this is Mars. Of course, is it possible that we got fouled up, made some tremendous blunder, circled around, and landed back on Earth?
In 1928?
Well, maybe some switch in time or dimension. Could we have shifted somehow, gone backward in time? Oh, Horst, this won't hold water. It's not logical. We checked every mile. We went past the moon, out into space. We're on Mars. Lustig out at point. Hingston in the rear. Keep that gun at half load.
Aye, sir.
Horst, there's got to be some cold, logical solution.
Captain!
What?
That house down the street, the white one with the green shutters.
Lustig, what's the matter?
I never thought of... Thank God!
Lustig, come back here!
He's running for that house.
That crazy fool, after him quick!
Lustig, stop!
Come down off of that porch! Lustig, what the devil do you think you're doing?
Albert!
Grandma, Grandpa, it is you.
Lustig, what is going on here?
Albert, it's been so many years.
How you've grown, boy.
It's so good to see you.
Lieutenant Lustig! Oh.
Captain, Grandma, I want you to meet my friends. This is Captain Black. Captain, I want you to meet my grandfolks.
Howdy. Any friend of Albert's is a friend of ours.
How long have you been here, Grandma?
Oh, a good many years, ever since we died.
Ever since you what?
Oh, yes, sir. They've been dead 30 years.
What?
Oh, now, don't you trouble yourself. It's all right. We're alive again, that's all.
Do you mean to tell me that Mars is heaven?
Oh, nonsense, no. All we know is here we're alive again. And who are we to question God's infinite ways?
Lustig, we're going back to the ship.
But, Captain, I want to talk to my grandpa.
Lieutenant Lustig, I don't like any part of this. You'll come back with us if I have to club you and carry you.
Aye, sir.
Now, let's go. Heaven only knows what they've run up against back at the ship. The ship.
Looks like we're being welcomed to the celebration, Captain.
Celebration? They've abandoned ship. Every port is open. No guard set. You master!
Hiya, Captain. Meet my old dad. Dad, that's Captain Black. He's not a bad guy for an officer.
Hingston!
What's this?
Bring that band back. Use force if you have to.
Oh, excuse me, sir. There's my Uncle George.
Hingston!
I'll be right back, Captain. Uncle George.
What the devil is going on here?
Understand, sir? They've all found friends and relatives. They're all here.
You're right, Captain. I found it. The whole crew's out in the crowd.
But I gave orders. Cabinet orders.
You don't understand, Captain.
I understand mutiny. I don't care how many relatives show up. I'll have discipline.
Johnny!
What?
Johnny, you old son of a gun!
It's you. Edward.
Yes.
It can't be.
Oh, of course it is. Johnny,
Ed.
you old...
Ed. Dr. Horst. This is my brother, Edward.
How do you do?
Hello, sir.
It's wonderful to see you, Edward. Look, I've got to get back to my ship.
Oh, Johnny, wait. I almost forgot. Mom's waiting at home.
Mom?
Yeah, and Dad, too.
Mom and Dad are alive? Then you're real, Ed.
Well, of course. Don't I feel real? How's that, huh?
Why, Ed!
We've got lunch for you, Johnny. Mom's making corn fritters.
Dr. Horst, haven't you found anybody?
No, Captain. I have nobody.
Well, then you come on home with me, right, Ed?
Why, sure.
Horst, you wouldn't believe it, but it's been 35 years since I had Mom's corn fritters. By George, 35 years.
Kitchen, so don't hold back, Johnny. You too, Dr. Horst.
Well, Johnny, you're still in the Navy, huh?
That's right, Dad. I'm in command of the ship.
We're an old Navy family, Dr. Horst. All three of our boys in the service.
Yeah, Ed was the best pilot in the Pacific, too. What did happen, Ed?
What's the difference? I'm here now.
Yeah, but...
You know, it's almost perfect. All we're missing is your brother Will. Then the whole family could be together.
Well, it won't be long, Mom. Will's in charge of the XR-54. Next rocket coming out to Mars.
Oh. Well, little Will, When does he leave, Johnny?
Well, the takeoff's scheduled for September, but it depends on what we report.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about that now, huh?
No.
Christmas together again. That'll be something.
Sure will, yes, sirree. Well, this calls for a celebration. How about a little of the old dandelion wine, eh, Johnny?
Now, Father, don't you go giving Johnny too much wine.
He's a big boy now, Mother. Well, sir, isn't everything just fine? Just fine.
Again, will you, Ed?
Oh, sure.
Well, Dr. Horst, what are you doing sitting over here alone? What do you think of my little family?
Very nice.
You know, I can't understand why you didn't find any folks here, Dr. Horst. It's just a shame everybody else is so happy.
Well, I never remembered my family, Mrs. Black. All I know is they were gassed at Dachau during the Second World War. When I was liberated, I was in delirium 3 months. I cannot remember anything before then. A psychiatric phenomena.
Well, that's terrible. Isn't there anything anybody can do?
I don't want to remember. I have not had a pleasant life. I prefer to be free of emotional entanglements. They interfere with a scientific approach.
I'm sorry, Dr. Horst.
Oh, I'll get it. That's our ring, long and 3 shorts. I remember that.
Well, maybe we'd better call it a night. You must be getting tired, Johnny.
I'd better be going back to the ship.
Nonsense. You stay the night. We insist.
I just couldn't rest thinking of you all alone on that ship.
I'll be all right. Well, good night.
Oh, wait a minute, Dr. Horst. That phone message was for you.
Me?
Yes, that's right. A message from Anna.
Anna? I don't...
Well, there, she must be an old friend. Isn't that nice?
I don't... You sure it was for me? I don't remember any Anna.
Well, she asked if you were better.
Perhaps she's someone who knew you at Dachau.
Anna?
She said she's coming over here first thing in the morning. So you'll have to stay over.
Yes,
well, that settles it then. You stay here, Horst. You can bunk with me in my old room.
Yeah, but Johnny, we thought you'd like to be with Edward.
So you could talk the way you used to.
Well, we can't put Dr. Horst on the daybed. I think we'd better share the room tonight. Be plenty of time for talking, Ed.
Yes, I guess so.
I suppose I better drop back to the ship. You know, Ed, security check.
What? Why do you have to do that here?
I don't know, Mom. There's no good reason, I guess. Well, suppose we skip it tonight, eh? Well, good night, everybody.
Oh, it's good to have you home, Johnny.
It's good to be home, Mom.
Captain Black, You asleep?
No, I've been thinking about what we were expecting. Green-skinned Martians. All the time there was only Mom and Dad and Edward waiting. That's funny what tricks your imagination can play on you. Well, I guess Mars is heaven, Horst.
You know, I've been thinking about Martians, too. Captain, just suppose there were Martians, and they saw us land, and suppose they thought of us as invaders. What would be the best weapon they could use against our atom bombs, huh?
I don't see what you're getting at.
They would want to disarm us first, huh? To wipe out all suspicion, to make us feel at home. Captain, suppose this house isn't real. Suppose the people are just images, stolen from our own memories by Martians, created for us by telepathy. Hypnotism.
Oh, that's the craziest theory I ever heard.
Maybe that's why there was no one for me. Because in all my life, there is no happy memory, no real loved person, not even my mother. I don't remember her. Only the piles of rotting corpses at Dachau. There was no happy emotion for these people to recreate.
How about that phone call? Anna?
Yes, Anna. I didn't remember who she was, but I do now. I just remembered. When I was freed from Dachau, sick, delirious, I raved about a wonderful, kind nurse named Anna that took care of me.
Well, there you are. It's logical. She's coming to see you tomorrow.
But there was no Anna. I'd been nursed by a man.
What?
Anna was only a dream. And there's only one way they could have learned about her, by reading my subconscious mind.
That's impossible, Horace.
Why? The whole crew was thinking of home. Suppose the Martians read our minds.
Yes, but if there are Martians...
If there are, they have us separated. Each man in a different house, sleeping, trusting. No one at the guns.
I left my pistol downstairs. Do you think there's something to this, Horst?
It's a perfect trap, Captain. Who would suspect his own mother, his grandparents? How easy. Just a knife in the heart of each sleeping man.
That's impossible, Horst. But we've got to get back to the ship.
Listen. The crickets have stopped. Come on. We don't know when they change back to whatever they really are.
All right, careful.
Where are you going, John?
Ed, we wanted to drink of water. That's all, Ed.
You're not thirsty, John. You don't want a drink.
Look out!
You don't want a
His
drink.
face! It's changing! He's a Martian! Run, horse! Run!
You can't get away, John.
This way, horse! Horse, where are you?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Earth? This is Captain John Black, the XR-53 calling from Mars. I've locked myself in the ship, but they've crippled it. I can't take off or fire the guns, and they're coming for me now, the Martians. I'm all alone here. All the rest are dead. Hingston, Lustig, Dr. Horst. Poor Horst, he didn't even reach the door. Listen. They're trying to break through the hull. Edward and Mom and Dad and all the folks, but they're changing now. They're melting and changing back into... They're Martians. Can you understand? Martians, not men. They make us think that Mars was heaven and we fell into the trap. Can you hear me, Earth? You've got to stop the next rocket. Listen, tell my brother Will. Tell my brother not to come. They'll trap him too. They'll kill them all. Hello? Can you hear me, Earth? This is John Black on Mars. Hello, Earth. This is John Black on Mars. Hello, Earth. Hello, Earth.
Tonight, X-1 has brought you the science fiction classic, Mars is Heaven, written by Ray Bradbury and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes as Captain Black and Peter Capell as Dr. Horst, with Bill Zuckert as Masters, Bill Lipton as Hingston, Margaret Berlin as the old lady, Bill Griffiths as Edward, Ken Williams as Lustig, Ethel Everett as Mom, and Edwin Jerome as Dad. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Wayne as a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. Minus one. Countdown for blastoff. X-5, -4, -3, -2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1. Tonight, Universe. We are just beginning to discover how boundless our universe really is. And yet as man reaches out to the stars, out toward infinity, Ironically enough, he may be building himself a new kind of prison. What would it be like to live all your life in a world no larger, say, than a single gigantic rocket ship bound on an endless mercy?
Hugh, look out! You all right?
Yes. Just missed me.
What was it?
A mutant with a slingshot, I think. Must have dashed down that passageway.
Want to go after it?
Oh, we'd never catch it, Alan. Probably 12 decks above us by now.
I didn't think they ever came down this far. Trolls usually get them before they reach this level.
Well, they get more daring each generation. This one looked like a female.
Male or female, it might have killed us. I told you this trip was pure foolishness, climbing 24 deck levels to hear a crazy old man rave.
All right, Alan, we're almost there now. Let me see, compartment X, 15, level 24. This is the place.
This area smells as if it hadn't been visited by a sanitation crew for generations.
This part of the ship is almost deserted.
Yes?
Is this the compartment of John the Witness?
Who are you?
My name is Hugh Hoyland, cadet from Scientist Barracks. This is my friend Alan Mahoney.
What do you want of John the Witness?
Well, only to talk.
Are you a believer in Jordan?
Naturally.
I have heard that there are those among the younger scientists who doubt the word of Jordan.
To doubt is death. We're not heretics.
Ah, enter.
I brought you a gift of tobacco, grown on the richest level.
Oh, it smells good.
I assure you it's of the best.
Wait here. I'll get him.
What a rat's nest. Well, what the devil do you think he can tell you?
Alan, I'm not sure.
Well?
Are you John the Witness?
I am.
Good evening to you. I'm Hugh Hoyland. This is my friend Alan Mahoney.
What brings a gentleman of the scientist class to my humble compartment?
I've heard that you and your parents before you have been keepers of the legend of the ship.
Since Jordan gave the word.
I'm anxious to hear the word as Jordan spoke it.
Why?
Because our young scientists, well, among them there have been some who talk against the word.
There are regulations against such heresy.
Still, some of them say the ship has no purpose. They say that we are here accidentally, that we have no more grace in Jordan's eyes than the most deformed mutant who dwells in the highest level of the ship.
What shall I say to you?
Well, I wish to hear the word from the mouth of one who knows, in order that I may become more convinced.
Sit. You have a gift for the witness?
The finest tobacco.
Good. I will dim the lights. Now pay close attention, for these are the words as my father's father's father gave them to his son's son's son. This is how the ship came into being, how our people were created. In the beginning there was only Jordan, thinking his lonely thoughts. Out of his thoughts came a vision. Out of the vision came a planning, and out of the planning came decision. Jordan's hand was lifted, and the ship was born. Mile after mile of good compartments, tank after tank for gold and corn, ladder and passage, door and locker fit for the needs of the yet unborn. He looked on his work and found it pleasing, meet for a race that was yet to be. He thought of man, and man came into being. Then Jordan checked his thoughts and searched for a key. Man untamed would shame his maker. Man unruled would spoil the plan. So Jordan made the regulations, and order came to the works of man. A crew he created to work at their stations, scientists to guide the plan. Over them all he created captain, made him judge of the race of man. Thus it was in the golden age.
These are the true words?
As my father's father taught them.
But what of the strange beast-like people on the upper levels of the ship? Surely Jordan did not create them.
Jordan is perfect. All below him lack perfection. You have heard of the legend of Huff?
I have heard that he mutinied against Jordan.
Darkness swallowed the ways of virtue. Sin prevailed upon the ship. And before wisdom prevailed and the bodies of Huff and his followers were fed into the converter, some of the rebels escaped and lived to father the mutants. They are tainted with the sins of their fathers.
Witness. One more question.
Speak.
What is the ship?
The ship is a great sphere, 25 kilometers wide and 100 levels deep.
I know that, but the upper levels.
Regulations forbid us to venture into the upper levels, but it is said that beyond the levels of the mutants lies the forbidden place where Jordan's spirit prevails.
So I've heard, yet something troubles me. Something which prompted my coming here.
Yes, my son.
What lies beyond the ship?
What?
What lies beyond the ship?
This is heresy.
Answer me.
I will not permit such talk. The ship is complete. The ship is universal. The ship is everywhere. The ship is endless.
Your mutterings are those of a frightened old man. They answer nothing.
You question the word?
I think you lie.
Hear me, Mr. Hoyland. For what you have already said, I can have your body fed into the converter. Your soul launched on the endless trip.
You threaten me.
You, for Jordan's sake.
Do you think I fear this dried fig of a man?
You! Sir, my friend is impetuous. He does not understand.
I might be persuaded to forget a substantial gift.
Why, you pig.
You!
Alan, come on. The sight of this so-called holy man offends me.
No, you shall not leave.
Don't try to frighten me with that gun, old man.
Remain where you are, heretic.
I warn you, put down that gun.
No, closer.
Drop it.
Very well, then. Death to the heretic.
Alan, get him. Alan. He's not breathing. Is he dead?
I don't know. Come on, Hugh. We've got to get out of here.
Right.
Nowhere. We can't go back. They'd feed us into the converter before we could even... What's that?
An alarm. That old woman must have turned it in. Come on, Alan. The patrol will be here in no time.
Where can we go?
Yes, where? The upper levels.
No, the mutants.
We'll have to take our chances. Come on, Alan. Let's go. Listen, that's a patrol. Come on, we've got to climb.
There's a hatchway down the corridor.
Right, quickly.
Oh, sir, we fire!
Alan, up ladder. Up. Come on, Alan. Come
on. Hugh, wait. How far are we from the outside wall?
Judging by the slope of the deck, about 2 miles. Alan, let's try this passageway here.
You hadn't asked him that stupid question.
Now, there's no use going over that.
But why did you do it?
I've been thinking about it for a long time. When he began to give me those stupid, pat answers, well, I just saw red, I guess.
Who are you to question the ways of Jordan? When you asked me to go with you to visit the witness, I thought you wanted spiritual help. I never dreamed.
I'm sorry, Alan. I'm sorry. I couldn't foresee this.
Wait a minute.
What?
I saw something move. Near that bulkhead.
I don't see anything.
Maybe my eyes are going bad.
Listen! You behind us!
Alan, look out!
What are you?
Away that knife. Keep away from me, you.
Don't kill him. Not yet.
Who are you?
You must forgive my friend Bobo. Like so many of my people, he's rather impetuous. We're members of the so-called super race, I think.
Who are you? What place is this?
As you can guess, from my leg. I'm a mutant.
Mutant? Where is Alan?
Your friend is dead.
Dead?
I was not able to restrain my people in time to save him.
Why don't you destroy me and get it over with?
We do not kill for pleasure, Mr. Hoyland. Only when necessary.
You know my name?
I read your identification tag.
Who are you? Mutants can't read.
My name is Gregory.
Gregory?
I'm a leader of my people. You see, although we are unfortunate in our heredity, Mr. Hoyland, many of us are quite intelligent.
And why do you live like animals?
We'd rather live like free animals than like regimented slaves, as you do.
I've heard you practice cannibalism.
Undoubtedly, you hear many things about us. You turn your head. Why?
That monster. I've never seen a creature like him.
Bobo is an unfortunate. He was born without the power of speech.
How can you tolerate such a monstrosity?
We've learned to live with difference. If we began to destroy our imperfects as you do on the lower levels, there would soon be no one left.
It violates the regulations. The word of Jordan.
You know, Mr. Hoyland, your people are really quite primitive and barbaric.
You dare say that to me?
I dare say a good deal more. Let us go to my compartment and speak further. I'm always interested in information on the lower levels.
I'll give you no information.
Bobo. No. I want Mr. Hoyland in my cabin, please.
No.
I would advise you to go quietly, Mr. Hoyland. Bobo has a hatred of superior beings, which is unfortunate, but quite understandable. Proceed. Enter, Mr. Hoyland.
This is where you live?
Yes.
But you have books?
Stolen from your libraries, Mr. Hoyland.
Compton's Astrophysics, Philosophy of Interstellar Navigation, Celestial Mechanics. You've read these?
Most of them.
I had no idea that you... Why did you bring me here? What do you intend to do?
Do you believe in Jordan, Mr. Hoyland?
There is no other belief.
And the trip? I suppose you believe in the trip, too.
What else is there to believe? When you die, your remains are fed to the converter, and your soul makes the trip.
And where does the trip take you?
By to Centaurus, of course.
Ah. And where or what is Centaurus?
Centaurus is... Mind you, I'm just telling you the orthodox answer. Centaurus is where you arrive when you've made the trip. A place where everybody is happy and where there's always good eating.
And you believe this?
Well, the peasants believe it literally, but many of the younger scientists, like myself, know it is figurative and symbolic. Why do you ask?
Did it ever occur to you, Mr. Hoyland, that the trip is exactly what your peasants believe it is?
What?
And that the ship and all the crew were actually going somewhere, moving?
The ship can't go anywhere. It already is everywhere.
Imagine a place bigger than the ship. Much
bigger?
With the ship inside it, moving inside it.
There can't be any place bigger than the ship. There just wouldn't be any place for it to be.
Oh, for heaven's sake, listen. You know the lowest level?
Of course.
If you started digging a hole in the lowest level, where would that hole go?
It's forbidden to think such thoughts.
Where would it go?
I can't think about it.
Bobo, we're going to take Mr. Hoyland to the place.
No. Where are we going?
To the top level.
But that's certain death.
Nonsense. I've been there 1,000 times.
No.
Come on.
No, I won't. I won't. You can't make me.
I think we can.
Please.
Now, shall we proceed peacefully, or shall I have Bobo persuade you? Open the door, Bobo. Inside.
What place is this?
This, Mr. Hoyland, is the main control room. Mr. Hoyland, you're trembling.
It isn't true. No, there's no such place except in mythology.
Ah, you younger men are so wise, Mr. Hoyland, except for one thing. This happens to be the main control room of the ship.
Main control? But it's just a huge room with an instrument panel.
And what did you expect?
How do you know this is the main control room?
See these instruments? Using them, the navigator many hundreds of years ago actually steered the ship on its voyage.
I don't understand.
I didn't suppose you would. Sit down.
Very well.
Look up. What do you see?
A huge shield.
Watch it for one moment, Mr. Hoyland. You're going to see something that few of us have ever been privileged to witness.
What are you doing?
I'm dimming the lights. Don't be frightened. Keep your eyes focused on the shield above us. Ready? 1,
It's sliding back. Ghost of Jordan.
Well?
What am I seeing?
The universe, Mr. Hoyland. The universe in all its beauty. The stars, the planets, the suns and moons and constellations.
No, it can't be. The ship is the universe. There is nothing but the ship.
Ah, but there it is. You see it before your eyes, spread out like a canopy of glory. Do you still deny it? Answer me, Mr. Hoyland. Do you deny it?
No, I can't deny it. They've lied. They lied to all of us.
Good. I have showed this to others of your people whom we captured, and though they saw it before their very eyes, they would not believe it.
Please, tell me all about it. Tell me the truth about the ship and about the universe. What are these things? How did this come about?
Many thousands of years ago, on a planet like those you have just seen, a planet called Earth, a scientist named Jordan decided to build a ship that would carry men from one planet to another. For many years, Jordan and thousands of others studied and planned. And when they were finished, they built the ship. A ship so large that it had to be assembled in its own orbit beyond a place called the moon. 60 years it took them to construct. And when it was finished, a whole new science had been conceived. Then the trip was begun. The trip that was to land a colony of Earthmen on a far-off planet called Centaurus, millions of light years beyond the furthest planet ever reached before.
How do you know these things?
Among my books are the log, which Jordan himself kept, and the records of the journey for the first 40 years.
What happened?
There was a mutiny. A man named Huff led a rebellion of those who wanted to turn back. In the struggle, the navigators were killed. The crew fell into a state of anarchy. In the years to follow, small groups of men tried to organize the ship for navigation, and each time they failed. Finally, the whole idea was abandoned. And so, for centuries, we have swung in space, unmanned, undirected, living in a lost world of our own making, without purpose, without direction.
Why have you told me this?
Can't you guess?
You want to finish the trip.
Yes, but I can't.
You can't?
Look at me, Mr. Hoyland. You see, a mutant, a man with a twisted leg. My people are outcasts, condemned to death if we so much as set foot in the lower levels of the ship. The main drive is in the lower levels where my people are forbidden to go. No. It would mean that both our people would have to work together. Our differences encouraged rather than denied.
All right. I'll see the captain himself. I have an uncle on the Central Board. I'll tell him what I've seen here.
And do you think he'll believe you?
Send one of your people with me.
That's asking a good deal.
I'm risking a good deal by going back.
Very well. Bobo will go with you.
Bobo? He can't talk.
There will be no need for talk. I will write a message guaranteeing safe conduct for a group of unarmed scientists to visit the main control room. Bobo will take you safely through our territory. What happens when you reach your own level is up to you.
One moment.
Yes, what? You?
Quick, Uncle. Let us in.
But this mutant.
He's harmless. Please, Uncle, please.
Now, what is this? You're wanted for...
I know all about that. Uncle, listen. I must see the captain.
The captain? Are you mad?
Uncle, you're a council member. You can get me to see him.
He'll kill you. You're wanted for heresy.
I don't care. I must speak with the captain. Now, Uncle, you're close to him. You can arrange it.
I don't understand.
Listen to me. The ship is moving. I can prove it. Do you understand? There is a purpose in the ship.
I don't understand what you're babbling about.
Now, never mind. Just talk to the captain. Tell him I have information of tremendous importance. Tell him I've arranged a truce with the mutants.
Truce?
Here. Show him this paper. Signed by their leader. Do it, Uncle, for my sake.
I don't know what...
Uncle, please, if I'm to die, let this be my last request to you.
Very well. I'll speak to the captain.
And you say, Mr. Hoyland, that you saw this with your own eyes?
I swear it, Captain. I swear it on the word of Jordan.
Let me see the paper again. Commander Erst, what do you think?
I don't know, sir. It might be a trick.
I guarantee you safe conduct.
If these things are as Mr. Hoyland reports them, it would pay to risk a few lives.
The man is a convicted heretic.
Still, we must not discount his word. He has a safe conduct, and the mutant risked its life coming with him. I think we might investigate.
Captain, you mean you will do it?
I will have an expedition outfitted. Dismissed, Mr. Hoyland.
Thank you, sir.
Captain,
Commander Erst,
sir,
you will make the necessary arrangements for an expedition. And I trust you understand.
Perfectly, sir. Perfectly.
Lieutenant.
Mr. Harlan?
Oh, you better halt your men here. This is the spot.
Patrol! Up! Well, I see no welcoming party of mutants.
There'll be none. Their leader will meet you inside the main control room.
You don't say. Just where is this main control room?
Beyond that door.
I see. All right, men. Ready up.
Lieutenant, why do you ready arms?
In case of ambush.
Ambush? Now, wait a minute, Lieutenant. What are those men doing with that ray gun?
Just aiming it at the door.
Are you mad?
No, Mr. Hoyland, but most certainly you are to think that we could be lured up here to be slaughtered with a fantastic story about some mythical control room.
Guns ready, sir.
Lieutenant, I warn you, these people have acted in good faith. You can't break that faith.
Oh, mutant! Come out!
For Jordan's sake,
Hold
Lieutenant.
It. A little too quiet for comfort. Mutant! Open the door!
Please, Jordan, don't let anything happen. Don't let...
All right, it's opening. Ready, men? Someone's coming out. Steady.
Gregory, stay back! You fools! You've killed him!
Here come the rest of them. Fire! Fire! That should teach them a lesson they won't forget. All right, men, inside the room. Come on, Harlan. You're under arrest as a conspirator in this ambush.
Ambush, you fool. You blind, stupid fool.
All right, that'll be enough. You've been inside this place before?
Yes.
What's this machinery?
These are the controls he would have used to steer the ship.
Gone out of his mind, Lieutenant.
Steer the ship? Who?
The leader, the one you killed.
This ugly mutant?
This ugly mutant. Happened to be a man of true genius.
Why, you're mad.
Am I? Lieutenant, this man had a vision which would have saved you, but you chose to kill him because you couldn't stand the sight of his difference from you.
Shut up, Highland. Don't listen to him, man.
You can't shut your eyes, and you can't shut your minds, and you can't shut your ears to this.
Roof's moving back.
Yes, look. Let the vision of this confound your ignorance and blind your eyes. This is the heritage of stars and open skies, for which men have yearned for centuries. Try to destroy this, and you will only destroy yourselves after the heritage. But I say to you that you can't keep this from our people. They will seek it out. The ship will be manned. And the ship will be steered, and there will be freedom, purpose, and respect for ourselves. This is your heritage. Look look upon the universe. Kill him.
X-1 has just brought you Universe, a story written by Robert Heinlein and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Heard in the cast were Donald Buca as Hugh, Peter Capell as Gregory, Bill Griffiths as Alan, Abby Lewis as the woman, Edgar Staley as the witness, Jason Johnson as the uncle, John Seymour as the captain, and Ian Martin as the lieutenant. Your announcer is Fred Collins. X-1 is directed by Fred Way and is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week we have a strange story to tell. A sweet, blood-curdling little story that is really only 2 sentences long. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. And then there was a knock on the door. What knocked on that door? You'll find out next week on X-1.
When you buy United States savings bonds, you help to build your own future security. Here's an opportunity to save systematically for long-range personal objectives. So invest in United States savings bonds. Now follow the Abbotts to mystery and adventure over most NBC radio stations.
The magic island of Euclidia, over 4,000 miles from Los Angeles, has been the scene of many a strange experience for our friends of Mrs. Gregory's little party. Now they are once more ready to land on this artificial island, ruled by G-47 and his scientists. The small boat bearing Mrs. Gregory, Captain Bradford, Jerry Hall, and Joan Gregory is within half a mile of Euclidia. Jerry and Joan are standing at the bow looking for the island, while Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford are busy with preparations for their landing.
Well, Joan, we'll soon be on that magic island again.
I am not happy about that, Jerry.
Well, you ought to be. This is where your mother and Captain Bradford wanted to be.
They are very foolish, and they are on a hopeless errand.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Tex Bradford thinks he can take over this island, and I'll bet he'll do it, too.
Jerry, you must realize that such a statement is not at all logical.
Huh? Well, what's wrong with it?
What is moving this boat toward Euclidia at this moment?
Why, that Euclidean submarine that's towing us, of course.
Exactly. If it were not for one of the machines developed on the island the captain expects to take over, he could not even reach the island.
Well, it wasn't Tex's fault that we had a Euclidean on board, was it? Could he help it if the sweet engineer turned out to be Thales?
Thales was clever in arranging to be on the boat, was he not?
Well, he wasn't clever enough to keep from getting caught when he wrecked our motors, though.
Perhaps he did not object to his capture after the motors were out of commission.
Well, maybe not. But he didn't look very happy when that girl commander took him on her submarine.
That was indeed something he did not expect.
And he'll get a lot more he didn't expect when old G-47 gets his hands on him.
No, I think Thales must know that he will be punished. Personal revenge is not allowed on Euclidia, and Thales was seeking revenge because the captain had recorded his voice.
Yeah. Hey, what will G-47 do to him?
That remains to be seen.
I say, here comes our Chinese cook. And boy, is he in a hurry.
He is a strange man.
Yeah. It's getting so I don't know anybody but strange people. Well, what's up, Jim?
Captain Blackboard say come tell you we near island.
Yeah, well, we know that. We can see it from here.
The eye is blind to strange sights.
Look over there, Mr. Lowe. Almost dead ahead.
Jim, look. No see island.
Well, you see a bank of gray fog or clouds lying there in the water, don't you?
Oh, sure. See foggy cloud on water.
The island is surrounded by that fog.
Island inside cloud?
Yep, island inside cloud.
That would seem very dangerous place for island. Steamship run through cloud, go smash on island. Too bad.
But on this island, steamships are not allowed to go smash. They go around.
Very good idea. If all steamships know that.
Well, they can't help but know it, Jim. This is a magic island, and ships can't run over it, even when they want to.
Jim Law believe magic when Jim Law see magic. You come now. Captain Blackbird wants to see you in radio room right away.
Okay, Jim. We'll come.
We should hurry if the captain wants us.
Yeah. You know, we're nearly on top of that island. Hey, but Joan, did you notice that we're not moving as fast as we were?
That is obvious, Jerry. The submarine commander has dropped our anchor from her magnets. We are slowly drifting toward Euclidia.
Well, I don't like to drift around in this corner of the ocean. I wish they'd send that magnetism out from the island and pull us in.
Jerry, will you go to the radio cabin as the captain requested?
Oh, sure. Come on. I wonder what he wants.
As it is only a matter of minutes until we land on the island, I should think it would have to do with the captain's final plans as to what each of us is expected to do after we land.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Tex hasn't told us anything about his plans.
I am afraid he may find it difficult to execute a plan.
Oh, don't worry so much about the captain. He knows what he's doing.
Undoubtedly. And the Euclideans also know what he is doing.
Oh, well, I didn't mean it that way.
Then say what you do mean.
All right. Now forget it for a minute. We'll go in and see what Tex has to say.
Interlocking devices with your boat.
Gee, Tex.
Quiet, kid.
You will be placed at your pier by the magnetic devices as before.
I understand that, Commander. Anything further?
Very little. You have a definite mission to perform on the island. You cannot hope to do it in secrecy. Therefore, you will find your position more tolerable if you request an audience with G47 when you land.
I'll do that all right. That's what I came down here for.
Your reason for coming here is known to the Euclideans as well as to your own party. I have dropped your anchor from my stern magnetic fin. I will now proceed to my sub-level anchorage. You will be drawn in. That is all.
Hold on a minute, Commander. When are we going to see you?
That is all.
Now, come in, Jerry.
May I come in also, Captain?
Hey, what's going on, Tex?
Just a minute, Jerry. Why, of course you may come in, Joan, but your mother's waiting for you in your cabin. Perhaps you'd better run along and see what she wants.
To be sure, Captain. I will go at once.
Close the door and come over here, Jerry.
Right. Well, what's the matter, Tex? They can't hear us talking on Euclidia, can they?
No danger of that, but I don't want Joan or her mother to hear this.
Gee, is something wrong?
Yes, but I can't tell what it is because everything sounds all right.
Well, that sounds funny.
I know it, but it isn't.
Well, come on, tell me.
I'm very much afraid the G47 has some carefully laid plans for us, Jerry.
Oh, sure he has. That old guy probably got a lot of swell tricks stored up for us after we escaped from his island and left him flat twice.
It's more than that. I'm sure of it. G47 must have learned more about us than we think he knows.
Well, did the girl commander tell you something over the radio just now?
She couldn't tell me much, as it's a cinch they'd be listening in on the island. But she said enough to let me know that things are going to be made entirely too easy for us on Euclidia.
Gosh, that won't be hard to take.
Jerry, we know that we're going to land on that island and stay there a while in the hope of finding some way to break up this scientific group before they start out to run the world from Euclidia.
And those Euclideans know it, too. You know, they're too smart to think we came 4,000 miles to get no place, just for the ride.
Right. Now, I had expected we would be confined as prisoners. While we wouldn't be in any immediate danger, yet it would present something of a problem for us to get free for an inspection of the island.
Well, if they're not going to do that to us, what is it?
They're going to give us living quarters, the same as anyone else on Euclidia, and leave us alone.
What?
It amazed me, too. That girl sub-commander said we would be taken from our boat to our quarters in a short time, and to stay on the boat until ordered to leave it. But we are to have the freedom of the island as soon as I talk to G47.
The freedom of the island? After they kept us locked up here so tight before?
That part of it's reasonable enough. We were trying to escape then. This time we've come to stay until our job is done, and they're not afraid of our running away.
But what about all the things you brought with you?
Jerry, that's what I wanted to tell you. Tell you before we land on the island, as we may never again have a moment's privacy. I didn't bring a thing with me.
But, Tex, your formula.
Not even that.
Well, gee, I suppose you know what you're doing, but I thought you had a lot of apparatus to use on these Euclideans.
And I want them to think the same thing. That way they'll waste a lot of valuable time studying all the materials I brought along, and it won't get them anywhere.
But can you do anything? I mean, can you do anything about taking this island over and getting us back home with a lot of special stuff to work with?
Absolutely. I know my formula for the universal solvent. I only had it written down in one place, in the safety deposit box in Los Angeles. And I destroyed that when we were home. The only place in the world that formula can be found is in my head.
But what about materials to make the real formula with?
They have everything I need right here on Euclidia. Now, don't tell that to Pat and Joan until I tell you to. They might worry about it.
Yeah, they might.
And act as if everything was Steady now.
Yeah.
Okay, they are. Come in.
We got ready as quickly as possible, Tex.
Plenty of time. They're going to pull us into the island with those magnets again.
Did you see how close we were when you came along the deck?
We are entering the artificial fog banks now.
That would mean just outside the ends of the piers.
And only about 200 feet to go, and we'll be on the magic island once more.
I can't hear the water rippling around the boat anymore. We must be inside the fog ring now.
That would be the case, Mother.
Were you able to contact that girl submarine commander who told us in, Tex?
Just had her on the radio. She advised us to stay on our boat until I talked with G47. Said that quarters would be prepared for us in the general living apartments and that we were to remain unmolested.
Well, that's rather a unique reception from a colony that understands your purpose so well.
I think it rather natural, Mother. G47 and all his assistants are fully aware of our purpose, and they're as anxious to see the captain's formula working as we are.
I think that's it, Joan. They want me to have a chance to complete my work as soon as possible, and then find out if I can show them anything they don't know.
There's no danger of their getting your formula?
Not a chance.
Well, how about the materials you brought along? Can you keep the Euclideans from taking those?
I'll do my best.
Our best wasn't any too good when we were here before.
Oh, cheer up, Mrs. Gregory. We were running away before. Hey, look out the door. There's the island.
So it is, Jerry.
That pier looks just like it did when we first landed here.
It is now daylight, Captain. When you first landed here, the Euclideans were using their artificial daylight.
Your memory is better than ours, Joan. Oh, Jerry, do you remember how frightened we were when someone placed those glasses in our hands?
Remember it? Boy, I can still shake every time I think of it.
Well, those tricks won't frighten us again. Ultraviolet light is something we also know a little about.
Well, let's go out on deck and see what we can see.
We were advised to stay on the boat.
Well, nobody said we couldn't look at the island.
I see no harm in it.
Not a bit. Let's all go out.
Look, Mrs. Gregory, we're at the same pier we were before.
Yes, twice before. We've lost 2 boats at this pier.
And the chances are we'll lose this one.
I think it highly probable.
Hey, Joan, do you know what they do with all the boats that get lost around this part of the ocean?
I have heard several accounts of their disposition, but I believe we will see many of them before we leave Euclidia again. If we ever leave it.
Now, there you go again with that if we ever leave it stuff.
Well, don't worry, Joan. We'll get away this time. We know what we're getting into, and we're well prepared for it.
Well prepared for it? For what?
Well, for anything.
Anything. Anything may happen to us here.
Yeah, when you get near this island, well, you can feel it all over again. That sort of empty, lost feeling.
A few short months ago, I could not have understood that feeling. Perhaps I understood no feeling. And surely I had no fear of the only home I knew. But now I believe I can understand what you mean.
It's a strange feeling. That shining circle of steel, 600 feet across, with those radio and defense rooms rising out of it like huge streamlined one-story houses, and not a sound. Knowing there are over 200 people inside that giant steel tube, living their lives without contact with our world. I'm not sure I'm glad we came.
Oh, I know how you feel, but we had a job to do, and, well, this was the only way to do it.
Well, I wouldn't have come back or brought any of you here if I hadn't felt that this was our only sure way to protect each other. Jerry and Joan certainly weren't safe at home with Thales and those other Euclideans in Los Angeles. At least we have a common chance here.
I am not afraid, Captain, but it all seems very hopeless.
That's my feeling, Joan. No matter how gallant an effort we make, will we accomplish anything?
Well, it's worth trying, and after all, we didn't have much choice.
We sure didn't. But I wonder how many choices they're going to give us here.
Not many, I think.
Well, the boat stopped moving. We're here.
Yes, we're here.
Well, how's it feel to get back home, Joan?
Home? I hoped I would never see this place again.
For the third time, a boat bearing the Gregory party lands at the magic island of Euclidia. The first time, they were searching for the island. The second time, they were returned to it as escaping prisoners. And now, they have been allowed to land for the purpose of attempting to take over the island. It doesn't sound reasonable somehow that G47 would let anyone come to Euclidia for the purpose of taking over his scientific colony. But that is exactly what Captain Bradford proposes to do. The small cruiser which brought the captain, Mrs. Gregory, and Jerry and Joan is held fast to the Euclidean pier by magnetism. There is no sound to be heard over the entire island.
Well, this blamed place has got another one of its noiseless days.
It would seem so, Jerry.
It's mighty weird at that.
It is a terrible place, Captain Bradford, and I am not at all sure we acted wisely in returning to Euclidia.
Oh, forget that, Joan. We had to do something, didn't we?
Jerry is right, Joan, dear. With the Euclideans watching our every move at home, we had no choice but to come back here and attempt to learn something of the power here.
We have seen many examples of the power of G47.
Well, I'll grant that he's given us a number of unpleasant surprises, Joan. But if we don't do something about regulating things here, the rest of the world may be in danger.
I think not.
Well, you always think not. But Captain Bradford's right. All these scientific gadgets would be too much for the world right now. It'd mean plenty of trouble.
You don't understand our world, Joan, and your visit to it was so pitifully brief that you had no time to see it. But we feel that there are a great many things of more value than reducing everything to a science. All of the electrical and chemical wonders these men have perfected can be used to advantage by the world. But they must be in the hands of the proper people.
Sure, Joan. Well, we can't let old G47 and his bunch get loose in the world with all the power they've got. Why, they could take over every country there is in a week.
And would that be so bad for the country?
Yes, Joan, it would, according to our standards of living. This isn't a place to argue about it. When are we supposed to land on this island?
Well, that girl submarine commander said for us to report to G47 as soon as we got here.
I'd be glad to do that if I could find him.
I suggest we start across the island. We will be seen and stopped. Then we may say our business and be conducted to G47.
I think that's the best thing to do, Tex.
So do I.
Right. Come on.
Hey, how about the Chinese cook?
Yeah, we'll leave him on board.
Oh, won't poor Jim Lowe be horribly frightened when some of these Euclidean guards come after him?
Oh, he knows plenty about what's happening.
I told him enough of it so he understands what we're up against.
He will be brought to quarters near ours, I expect.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to find our own quarters.
Looks that way, son. They didn't give us much of a welcome this time.
Isn't it strange walking on this polished steel surface and not a sound?
Yeah. You know, it gives me the creeps. Boy, the deck of that old boat will sound mighty good when we get back on it again.
Which is liable to be some time. Well, where do you suggest we go, Joan?
This is strange to me also, Captain Bradford. I have never seen anyone allowed to advance to this point on the island without being stopped and questioned.
I wouldn't mind being questioned if I could only see someone or hear something.
Yeah, at least we can be thankful they're using natural daylight. We don't have to stumble around that artificial sunlight of theirs without the proper glasses.
Well, you're the only one who's got any idea about this place, Joan. What do we do now?
I believe we should proceed to the central control chamber and ask for instructions.
Straight ahead?
Yes.
All of these surface rooms are of shining steel. We can see nothing except the surface, and yet we're being watched from within.
Well, you bet we are. That steel is as clear as window glass when you're on the inside.
We should receive a warning before we proceed much further.
A warning? About what?
We will be warned to come no nearer to the control chamber.
Then perhaps we'd better stop now.
Let's go on till someone stops us.
But what are we running into, Tex?
I don't know. What about that, Joan?
G47 instructed us to report to him. I think no harm will come to us until that time, at least.
Well, if we're only safe until we find him, let's don't look very hard for him.
Well, we'll find him all right, but something must have changed since we left here. Your warning isn't coming along very fast, Joan.
I cannot understand that.
Always something we can't understand. And it will continue to be that way on this mad island.
Afraid so. But one thing we can understand is absolute silence, and that's all we've run into so far.
Well, nobody's stopping us. Let's go and try the door in that control chamber.
It will not open from the outside, Jerry.
Well, maybe if we knock loud enough, somebody will open it for us.
Isn't that dangerous?
Better be careful, Jerry.
Hey, are these doors charged with electricity?
No, they are locked so that it is impossible to open them from outside.
Well, then it won't hurt anything to knock on one of them. Here goes.
That ought to wake anyone up.
You will not find the Euclideans asleep.
There's no one in that place.
Perhaps this is a trick.
Oh, what for?
Well, I don't know, Jerry. But it's very easy to suspect everything on this island.
Maybe you didn't knock hard enough.
Oh, gee. You could hear that noise all over the island.
Out here, yes. But if that room is soundproof, they may not have heard it inside. I'll try it again.
No, nothing doing.
It will prove useless to knock more, Captain Bradford.
I believe you.
But what are we to do?
The elevators will operate automatically as we approach them. Perhaps we are expected to descend to the lower levels.
Boy, you don't feel so important when they let you land like this. Nobody cares if we're here or not.
On the contrary, Jerry, we know that G47 and his scientists care a great deal. There's some reason for this.
Where is this elevator, Joan?
We are approaching it now. That small rounded dome rising from the island floor.
Rising?
Oh, sure, Mrs. Gregory. What's that thing come up in the air?
Why, so it is, but how?
The elevator is electrically controlled.
I understand that, Joan. Most elevators run electrically. But who is bringing it up?
Well, nobody. It's coming up for us.
How do they do it, Joan? Photoelectric cell?
Precisely.
You mean that we walked through or over an electric beam and brought that elevator up?
That is one method, though I believe this particular channel is operated by the voice directed toward it.
Oh, this is almost too much for me.
Well, you didn't see as much of this island as I did before, Mrs. Gregory. This elevator is only a starter.
The elevator is completely above the surface now. We may enter.
The door might help a little.
The door is opening.
So it is. Opening automatically, I suppose.
Oh, I guess so. Don't see anyone inside the thing.
Well, we'd better get along with it. Somebody must know we're here. They wouldn't have everything fixed up so nice for us.
We will try the various levels and determine what is taking place.
Not much room in these things.
They were designed to hold 4 people.
Well, as soon as I squeeze in, we'll have 4. Okay, let her go, Joan.
I suggest stopping at the first level.
You're the boss, Joan. We'll stop anywhere you say.
Are you sure you know how to operate this, Joan?
Well, I'll say she does. Go ahead, Joan. Push the switch for the first level, and let's go down and meet some Euclideans.
Very well.
How smoothly this car descends.
Well, everything on this island is pretty slick.
What's on the first level, Joan?
Very little of value, mostly heavy articles in storage.
Will we be likely to find anyone there?
I think we should try each level.
There's the magnet. This is the first floor.
But, Jerry, we did not stop.
We have passed that level?
Yes, I could feel those big magnets release this car, then take hold again.
Push the button for the second level, Joan.
I have done so.
Didn't do any good, though.
Will you be able to stop without an accident, Joan?
There will be no accident in this elevator.
Well, it certainly was an accident that you couldn't stop at either of the first 2 floors.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that.
There was the third level. Our journey in this elevator was obviously planned in advance.
Where are we most likely to wind up, Joan?
Either the 5th level, where the chemical laboratories are, or the 9th, in the confinement cells.
But G47's orders were that we weren't going to be prisoners this time.
I wouldn't put too much faith in G47's orders, Jerry.
We're not taking Soft to 4th, that's sure.
The next will be the laboratories.
And if we don't stop there, the prisons again?
Afraid so, Mrs. Gregory.
Well, I doubt it. G47 wants more from us and our company in a cell, but the first person we meet will be G47 himself.
There goes the 5th floor, so we won't meet him there.
Isn't the car moving faster?
Seems to be at that.
Yes, the speed has increased.
Well, I'll say it has. We made that floor mighty quick.
That was the 6th. You say we're not likely to stop before the 9th, Joan?
That is my opinion.
Well, your opinion is looking better all the time. And they don't want us on the 7th floor.
How can all this be so cleverly controlled?
It is all arranged in advance, Mother.
That was 8 of them.
And still we go down.
I don't see how people can live day after day, year after year in this atmosphere as the Euclideans do. It would drive me mad to be herded around from place to place at the will of one of these scientists.
Hey, Joan, we passed the 9th level.
Yes, and that is strange.
More strange than any of the rest of this stuff?
Yes, Captain. The 10th level contains only the power rooms and fuel storage. We would not be taken there for an interview.
Well, nevertheless, we've stopped on the 10th level. And if it isn't to interview G47, it may be for something far more unpleasant.
Well, let's get out and find out.
One moment, Captain.
What's up?
Do not attempt to move.
What? We're going down.
Yeah. And I thought the 10th floor was the bottom.
Joan, you look as lost as the rest of us now.
I suppose I do. I can only speculate as to what is happening.
Then speculate out loud. We've already gone through the floor. Where can we go now?
We're certainly going down.
How about this, Joan? This isn't an illusion created to worry us, is it?
What, Captain?
I mean, we're really going down?
Undoubtedly.
But where are we going?
Oh, no place I ever heard of. That 10th floor was past the bottom of the island when Joan and I searched it before.
Yes, Jerry. It was the bottom, so far as we were allowed to see.
Joan, what do you mean?
Well, she means that even when you've seen 10 levels below the water on this thing, and even when you're 100 feet under the ocean, you haven't seen everything.
We've been going down at about the same speed. That would mean we've already dropped 30 or 40 feet below the 10th level.
But that couldn't be, Tex. The island is only 10 levels deep.
The island, yes. But now I think we may expect to learn why we found all levels in the island deserted and closed to us. We are to be taken to modern Atlantis.
Modern Atlantis?
Why, Joan, the lost continent?
No, its namesake. The Euclidean city under the ocean floor. I had heard strange tales of it, almost too fantastic to believe. But now I feel that it must be a reality. We will continue down for 200 feet, and when we leave this elevator, we will be in the most wonderful city in the entire world, modern Atlantis.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. And now a message from the famous winner of the typical American boy contest, Popsicle Pete.
Hello, everybody. Say, I just finished a game of table tennis. Boy, what a fast game. You should see my set. It's a honey.
And you can get a table tennis set free, just like Pete's. Yes, table tennis and lots of other wonderful presents, just for saving bags from delicious Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. Listen to these gifts. A real movie camera, a wallet, roller skates, wristwatch, beautiful jewelry, a sleeping doll, fishing tackle. And that's only a few. So you'd better start saving bags right now. Enjoy genuine Popsicle, Fudgicle, or Creamsicle on a handy stick every day. They taste wonderful. Help to make you strong, too, because they're made from choice, fresh, healthful ingredients. The biggest nickels worth anywhere.
Hey, kids, get a free Popsicle gift list from your ice cream store. Tells you how many bags to save for the presents you want. And there's a free coupon with that list worth 10 bags to get you started.
Well, now let's see. Kane and Ardalia, you remember, have established a headquarters at the ruins of ancient Philadelphia and to put back Barney under the psychic restriction ray. Buck and Wilma, meanwhile, have returned to Dr. Hewer's laboratory to install a gyrocosmic relativator on their ship. However, as they were about to make the installation, But let's pick up the story at that point. Okay? Then here we go, 500 years into the future.
Will you open the door, please, Wilma, so I can carry this relativator out to the ship?
Surely, Buck.
Suppose I go with you to make sure you install it properly.
I wish you would, Doctor.
There you are, Buck.
Thanks. Oh, look.
What?
Well, yes. It's coming right down here.
What's so fast? Who's at the controls?
Whoever it is, he's going to crack out.
Then look out. Get back, Wilma. Here he comes.
Look out. Look. A rocket roadster. And look who was in it.
Willie. Good heavens. Oh, what was he doing trying to fly this rocket roadster?
Here, help me get him free of this wreck.
Yes, by all means.
Willie, listen to me, Willie.
Here, I'll carry him into your laboratory, Doctor.
Yes, Buck. I'll clear off a table to lay him on.
Buck, is he still alive?
Sure he's alive, but that was a nasty crack-up.
Here now, Buck. You can lay him right down here on this table.
Right, sir. Oh, there he is.
Quick, Wilma. Plug in the healing ray while Buck and I pull it over here.
Yes, sir.
Buck, you hold the projection lens steady while I move it.
Go ahead, Doctor.
It's all plugged in, Doctor.
It's in position over our little patient.
Oh, dear, I hope he isn't badly hurt. Poor little fellow.
Turn it on, Buck.
Yes, sir. But now, Doctor.
Yes?
What can this healing ray do for him? He's unconscious.
You seem to forget that an incidental function of this ray is stimulation of certain nerve centers. Buck.
Oh, yes?
Go out and look at that roadster and see what its identification number is.
Its identification number? What'll that tell us, Doctor?
Go quickly.
Oh, but I don't see... Oh, sure. Yes, sir.
Would it help to splash a little water on his face, Doctor?
Well, it might, Wilma. Suppose you get some.
Yes, sir.
Willie. Wake up, Willie.
Here now.
Just a little bit on his forehead. Yeah, that's it.
Poor little fellow. I can't understand is why he was trying to pilot that rocket roadster. Sure, he never handled one alone before.
Dr. Hero.
Yes, Buck?
The plane Willie busted up out there is the same one Ardela was seen in, flying away from this laboratory.
Ah.
You know, right after she and Kane escaped from the prison here in Niagara.
What?
I was afraid of that. So without question, Black Barney's in their hands. And if that doesn't complicate the job of finding him, I don't know what I'm talking about.
How's Willie coming along, Doctor? Healing ray doing him any good?
I don't know, Buck. He hasn't shown any sign of responding to its effect as yet.
You've got to, Doctor. Oh, dear, I don't know what I'd do if anything would have happened to him.
Wouldn't it be better if we were to take him right over to the medical center?
I'm afraid to move him until we're sure that the healing ray is enough. And the important thing in a case like this is immediate treatment. Moving him would only mean a dangerous delay.
Poor little fellow.
Surely Barney wouldn't have let him hop off alone like that.
Oh, never, Buck. I'm sure of it. No matter what happened, Barney would never do anything that might place Willie in danger.
Yeah, you're right. Barney has devoted his whole life to caring for this boy.
They've been through some tough times together since Barney first picked him up. And always Barney's done everything possible to keep Willie from harm.
They're such a strange combination, Doctor.
Yeah.
How'd they ever happen to pair up together?
Well, it was Right after the Mongol invasion of all our principal American cities, Buck.
Yeah?
Barney was an air pirate at the time, going around bombing and ransacking municipal storehouses.
I see.
And in the course of his travels, he stopped at what was left of Denver. There he found only one survivor, Willie. Not knowing what else to do with him, he pulled him into his rocket plane and took him along. And they've been together ever since.
Doctor, we've got to do something more for Willie.
Wait, Wilma.
Mr. Barney.
Willie.
Mr. Barney.
Poor kid.
Hey, Willie, easy, Willie. Mr. Barney isn't here, but we'll take care of you. Now just lie still. Lie still and rest.
But I want...
Yes, dear.
I want Mr. Barney.
You just lie still, as Dr. Hewer told you to. We'll get Mr. Barney for you as soon as we can.
You bet we will.
Where are you going, Buck?
To install a gyrocosmic relativator on our ship for immediate use.
Oh.
But I want Mr... Oh, Lieutenant Wilmer.
That's right, Willie. You just lie still a minute until you feel better.
And Dr. Hewer.
Hello, Willie. Well, how do you feel now?
Pretty good, but where did Mr. Barney go?
Don't you know?
Me?
Yes, Willie. Where did you leave Mr. Barney?
Oh, well, Kane.
Yes.
Killer Kane and Ardela took him.
Yes?
In a rocket plane. They took him away.
Yes? Yes, Willie?
Wait, Wilma. And Willie, you lie still for another minute and just look up at the healing ray.
Yes, sir.
Real quietly now. That's the boy.
How is he now, Doctor? Okay?
Wait, Buck. I'm afraid we let him overexert himself.
Oh.
I want him to get a little more of this healing ray before we talk with him further.
Oh, sure. But have you found out anything at all from him?
Kane and Ardela are involved in this, all right, Buck. Got the relativator installed?
Yes, sir. I set it right next to the metallic glass window in the rocket exhaust line.
That's right. You know, it's the light from the rocket exhaust that activates the relativator.
Mm-hmm.
Good. With that thing on board, we'll get somewhere.
Oh, thank goodness for that. It's about time we started getting somewhere, too.
Yes. Well, Willie. Now, how do you feel now?
All right, I guess.
That's good stuff.
Only my head hurts a little bit.
Well, I should think it would, Willie.
Oh, hello, Captain Rogers.
Hello. You've got a lump on your head there the size of an egg.
Have I? Honest?
Honest to goodness. Why, Willie, that's a bump to be really proud of.
I wonder what Mr. Barney'd say if he saw it. He'd probably think I was going to die or something.
Yes, sir, Willie, he probably would.
Well, you sound as though you're feeling pretty good now, Willie. Now, let's turn off the ray and let you sit in that easy chair there so we can talk to you. Here now.
Oh, I can walk all right, Dr.
No,
Hewer.
sir, you're going to let me carry you. Now, here we go. Up there.
Say, this is like Mr. Barney carries me sometimes.
That's so? Now, here. Now, you just sit tight here.
Uh-huh.
Sure you feel all right now?
Oh, sure, I feel fine. Say, this is some bump on my head, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yes, sir. You want to feel it, Doctor?
No, thank you. But now, Willie.
Yes, Doctor?
Don't you know what Mr. Barney is?
Yes, Willie. And what under the sun happened to you two after we radioed for you to come back here to Niagara?
Well, we started back all right because Mr. Barney knew you wanted the gyrocosmic relative.
Yeah?
But all of a sudden, the door in one of the lockers there in our control cabin popped open, and out came Killer Kane.
Buck, I knew it.
So, he stowed away on board your ship, huh?
Yes, sir. He had a rocket pistol, so Mr. Barney had to steer wherever he wanted to go.
And where was that?
Well, we kept flying straight southeast, until we came to the old ruins of Philadelphia.
Uh-huh. And if I remember correctly, that's where Professor Smith once had his headquarters. Professor Smith, the mad scientist.
Yes, sir, Captain Rogers, before he set up headquarters on the moon.
And did you land there, at the ruins of ancient Philadelphia?
Well, we landed near there, Captain. You see, Miss Ardale had already come over in the rocket roadster I just busted up, and she was waiting for us.
Yeah, so?
Well then, Mr. Kane made Mr. Barney and Ardale get on board our ship, and he made me get into the roadster, and he told me to... Oh, here, I almost forgot.
Forgot what, Willie?
This note he gave me to bring along.
Note?
Yeah. Here, Captain Rogers, it's for you.
Oh, let's see.
What does it say, Buck?
My dear friend Rogers.
Yes.
We are looking forward to a visit by you and Wilma at our new headquarters, if you can find them. Signed Killer Kane and Ardela.
Buck, we've got to find that pair if it's the last thing we do on Earth.
Yes, but if I know that pair, you may have to go far beyond Earth to find them.
Right. But, Willie,
Yes, sir?
where did Kane and Ardela go after they gave you this note to deliver?
Well, I don't know, Captain. I got in the roadster right away and started back here.
Well, did they take off in the big ship?
Well, I don't even know that, sir. I'm not very used to flying, you see, and I had to keep my eye on the controls all the time,
Yeah?
so I didn't dare try to look back at them, too.
Yeah, I see.
But what made you crack up out here the way you did?
Well, I guess it was because I tried to do a fancy landing like Mr. Barney does, I guess, and I guess my hand must have slipped a little bit on the control lever.
Well, whatever it was, you certainly came down with a terrific bump.
Well, I'm all right now. I feel fine.
I hope so.
Only just you wait till I get my hands on Mr. Kane for taking my Mr. Barney away from me. Yes, sir.
No, sir. You'd better take it easy for a while.
Yes, Willie, I think the best thing you can do is to take a nice little rest over at the medical center.
Oh, now, Doctor. Yes, I guess that is a good idea, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Well, sure. They treat you fine over there.
Well, Willie, I thought that the last time you were over there, when you sprained your ankle or whatever it was, you wanted to get out.
Well, that was because I wanted to be with Mr. Barney. But with him not here, well, maybe I'd better just rest up until I feel all right again.
I thought you weren't feeling as well as you pretended.
Oh, you know how it is, Lieutenant Wilma. We men don't like to admit it when we aren't feeling so good. You know how it is.
Sure I do, you old rascal.
You're nice, Lieutenant.
Well, now, look here, Willie.
Yes, Captain?
On this scrap of paper, I've drawn a rough map of the ruins of ancient Philadelphia and all the surrounding territory.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a pretty good map, Captain.
Yeah?
That's just what it looks like.
Well, can you show me where you and Barney and Kane set down your ship to meet Ardela?
Well, sure. Let me see. It was right about here.
Mm-hmm. A little west of the actual ruins, huh?
Yes, sir.
And which way was the ship facing when it lay there?
Well, this way, toward the east.
Toward the ruins of the city?
Yes, sir. Only I don't know if that's the way they flew when they took off.
Oh, that's all right. With the gas analyzer we've got aboard our cruiser, we'll find that out in jig time.
Unless there's been too much delay and the wind's blown the rocket trail away.
Oh, we'll have to take that chance. And with a relativator aboard, we can get down there in just a few minutes. Come on, Wilbur. Let's get underway.
Right. You coming too, Doctor?
No, I must try to dig up more impenetrites for making more gyrocosmic relativators. We know their importance now, and I want to make more of them as quickly as possible.
Come on, Wilma.
Don't use too much speed, Buck, just because you have a relativator. You'll be flying fairly low that short distance, and you'll get lots of atmospheric friction.
Right, sir.
Goodbye, Captain, Lieutenant.
Bye, Willie.
Bye, Willie.
Boy, look at that takeoff.
Yes, Willie. They certainly make a fast one with that relativator. But now let you and me go over to the medical center.
Oh, I don't think I need to go now, Doctor. I feel much better.
Do you?
Yes, sir. Now that I know Captain Rogers and Lieutenant Wilmer are going to bring my Mr. Barney back to me.
Of course they are.
Well, I hope Willie and Dr. Hugh are all right. But if I know Kane and Ardela, Buck and Wilma won't have any easy job of it.
Gee, I never got so many letters in my whole life as I got now in one day. You should see all the kids that write me and say, thanks, Pete, for the camera, or thanks for the sleeping doll, or the wristwatch, or fishing tackle, or whatever other presents they got for popsicle bags. Gosh, they're wonderful presents. You can even get a movie camera. And all you do is save bags from popsicle, fudgicle, and creamsicle.
It's a great way to get free presents, isn't it? Just save up bags from the swellest tasting confections you can eat. Try a great big juicy popsicle today, made from fresh fruit flavor. That's why they taste so extra delicious.
And do they last?
A double portion popsicle on a handy stick costs only 5 cents. The biggest 5 cents worth anywhere and the purest.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Big Comic Weekly
each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. For the benefit of those who may not have heard the earlier episodes, Flash Gordon and Dale Arden were thrown onto the new planet Mongo. The two Americans were sent to the prison city of the Hawkmen. In a tournament of death, Flash Gordon wins the unconquered kingdom of the caves and sets out to subdue his domain. We now follow Flash Gordon in his conquest of the kingdom of the caves. Having picked up a company of King Voltan's Hawkmen, the huge rocket ship bearing Flash and Dale to their new kingdom heads for the yawning mouth of Kira, the wild and forbidding cave world. Following Ming's map and instructions, Captain Khan steers a course for the stronghold of Zug, chief of the cavemen. The ship leaves the gloom of the first cave and enters another, colossal in size and brilliantly lighted. They land and get out of the rocket ship.
Well, Dale, we're here.
What a huge cave. And look at all those little holes in the side.
Those must be the dwellings of my subjects. Khan, is all my kingdom like this? I've never been inside before, Your Majesty. Nobody has ever explored this strange underground world.
Look, men are coming out of those holes in the cliff. And what fierce-looking men.
That powerful-looking red-headed giant must be their leader. We'll break the news to him, Your Majesty.
Me chief here. Why you come, huh?
Bend your knee, old red-haired one. This is King Flash the First, ruler of Kira, the cave world. By order of Ming the Merciless, Emperor of Mongo.
No, King. Me chief. Me kill him.
Look out, Flash.
Drop that stone axe, you fool.
Yeah.
This is a ray pistol which can dissolve you into pieces. Wait, Khan. I'll not rule any man I can't beat in fair combat.
You stronger. You king.
Thanks, Zug. I'll make you my right-hand man.
Run for your lives. He comes, eater of men.
What's the matter?
Big lizard monster. Eat men. Run for your lives.
Khan, give me my signal gun. If that thing gets close enough, I'll shoot it.
Now shoot him, Flash.
Here goes. Good work, Your Majesty. You have blinded him. There he goes. I don't think you'll ever be bothered by him again, Zug.
Oh, King. Me and my pride fight for you, always.
Fine. With the cavemen and the hawkmen, I'll conquer my kingdom.
Flash Gordon leads his army of cliffmen and hawkmen into the immense caves which make up his kingdom. After progressing for a long time without seeing a living thing, he decides to take Dale and go on a scouting expedition. Walking through a cave of terrifying beauty, the two Americans are suddenly surprised by a band of lizard men. They drop from all sides, hurling stones. Flash is knocked out, and Dale's signal gun shrieks its siren as she fires bolt after bolt at the charging man-beast. Back on the plain, Captain Khan and Zug leap to their feet as the wailing of Dale's signal gun reaches their ears. With the dashing, fearless Captain Khan at their head, the squad of hawkmen come to the rescue.
Dale! What has happened to His Majesty?
Lizard men, they attacked us and knocked Flash out. I fought them off, but they took Flash and escaped through that crevice.
It's blocked with a huge stone. Men, swing that quick firing gun into position. There. This way, Dale. Let us find His Majesty.
Look! Blood.
That means King Flash came this way. Lizard men don't bleed.
This passage seems blocked up.
We'll have to use the nitro gun.
Wait. Let me squeeze through that opening.
Right. How is it, Dale? Can you see the end?
Not yet.
Now?
I'm stuck, but I can see light ahead.
Dale?
Charles, darling, you're alive. I'm so glad.
They'll have to get the camera. I can't fudge this stone.
Can you reach my signal gun?
Yes, I got it. Thanks, Dale. Quiet. Here come the lizard men after them.
In the meantime, in the castle of Azora, the witch queen of the blue magic men, Tall, the chief magician, calls the queen's attention to something he sees in the magic glass.
Look, O Queen.
Strangers to my cave.
Fighting with the lizard men. See, they have blown down the stone and have conquered their opponents. They are free. They are coming this way.
What a handsome blonde leader. Tall, we must go to welcome him.
What's that, Khan? Why, the earth is trembling. The walls are shaking.
The soldiers and Brooke and the cavemen.
They're buried under an avalanche of stones. That weird light. What does it mean? Look, in the midst of the lurid flames. A woman!
Greetings, strangers.
Who are you?
Bend the knee, O strangers. You are face to face with Azura, queen of the blue magic men.
A queen?
I am King Flash. I bend my knee to no one, man or woman.
So, make him bow to me, Carl.
Poison gas. He's strangling us.
That's all.
Dale. Don't worry, Dale.
Your spell is on them, O queen. See, they sink to the ground unconscious from the sleep gas. Yours is the power to bring them back, boy.
The fool. He thinks he can pit his muscle against sleep gas. Have them carried to the gravity sled. We return to the castle.
Well, Queen Azura, here are the three strangers laid out before you, still in deep slumber, from which only you have the power to bring them back. What is your pleasure?
He is so handsome, so big and strong. Carl, use the pull motor. Bring this one back to life.
There. His eyelids quiver. A shudder runs through his body. The blonde youth is coming back to us.
Don't worry, Dale. I'm with you. Where am I? Oh, it's you.
Yes. Are you so displeased with my appearance? Am I not beautiful to look upon?
Dale.
Save your breath. He cannot hear you. He cannot answer you. He is dead.
No. Dale, you witch. You killed her.
Yes, I killed her.
You stand there and admit it. Why, I'll...
Stop. I killed her as I killed you and your other companion. And I can bring her back as I brought you back to life.
Then do it. At once.
You are young and full of life. It would be a pity to put such a fine specimen of manhood to death.
What are you talking about?
One of you must die. Which shall it be? You or the girl?
You know there's only one answer to that.
The brave youth wishes to make the supreme sacrifice. Very noble, but very foolish. I've changed my mind. You shall live for me.
And Dale, what will happen to her?
If you promise to obey me forever, I will bring her back to life.
Then I agree to your terms.
Shall we seal our bargain with a drink?
Very well.
Carl?
Here it is, O Queen.
Take this cup, stranger. Drink to our love, fair-haired youth.
You drugged me.
Yes. And now you are truly mine forever.
I can't seem to remember. What am I? Who are you? And who am I?
Do not worry, my soldier prince. I am your queen, Azura.
Azura? Queer, I can't remember who I am. I had something to do. I had to save somebody.
Sit back and relax.
I must have been struck on the head during a battle. Forgive me for being so foggy.
You are forgiven, my prince. Come with me.
My mind is a blank as to my past.
You mean you have forgotten everything? Even our love?
All I know is that you are the most gorgeous woman I have ever seen.
And that is what I have been waiting to hear you say. Listen, my handsome prince. I wish to test you. Look at those two figures suspended there. Do you know them?
A man and a girl. Beautiful girl, too. I never saw them before in my life. Should I recognize them? Have I ever met them?
One more test. Carl, the pull motor. Bring that man back to life.
He is coming back, O Queen.
Flash. Your Majesty. Where is Dale? Dale? Your Majesty? What are you talking about? You must be ill, Your Majesty. Don't you know me? Khan of the Hawkman. Azura. the man raving about?
He is a war prisoner of ours, crazy from wounds.
Oh, then I quite understand. I forgive him.
I am glad you are loyal to me, my queen.
I always will be, my beautiful queen. Flash, listen to me.
Quiet. Lie back, you.
I warn you, it will take 1,000 magic men to keep me in chains.
I think not. Guard! Bind him with the electric manacles. Silence, dogs. I warn you, if you disobey, these manacles will become red hot and sear you to the bone. Take him to the kitchen.
Oh, you got him, Flash!
And now for the girl.
Flash, where are you?
You shall see him. Get up. Come this way.
Where am I?
You are in the palace of Azura, queen of the magic men. When I draw these curtains, you shall see your lover in the arms of his queen Azura.
Oh, Flash, how could you?
Listen.
Your kingdom is very beautiful, my darling. I think I would enjoy the sight of food more. I'm starved.
Forgive me, my prince. I was so interested in showing you the beauty of my palace, I'd forgotten about food. Come to the dining room. Oh, cook! Some food.
Now, strange girl, come with me to the kitchen. You shall serve them.
Saul takes Dale to the kitchen of the palace where she joins Khan, who is helping prepare the food. Oh, Dale, you're safe.
Yes, Captain John. And I'm glad to find you safe, too. But Flash...
Yes?
Oh, Captain John, what has caused Flash to change so?
I do not know, but he seems to be under some kind of spell. This queen is indeed a witch.
What are you two with? Get to work.
No, I won't. I won't do anything for her.
You dare to rebel? Then take this magnetic whip.
Stop! Give me that whip or I'll break your neck.
Burn him!
Oh, Tom, they'll kill you. Tell them you'll obey.
For your sake, Dale, I surrender. I will obey.
Good. Now, girls, take this plate of food into the queen and her new prince.
Here, I will help you with the tray, Dale. Now, one taste of this acid on the food, and all of your magic won't save her. There. Now then, can you carry it?
Yes, I shall take it in now. Here comes the food. There's my prince. There's Flash. Oh, you clumsy fool. Oh, don't you love me anymore, Flash?
Love you? Why, I don't even know you, girl.
I will teach this unruly and clumsy servant girl obedience. Guards, give her the whip.
What will happen to Dale Arden, held in the clutches of the cruel witch queen Azura? See for yourself in full-colored pictures the terrifying situation that faces our friend. You will find these pictures in next Sunday's Comic Weekly, which is distributed with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And besides Flash Gordon, you will find all the other friends waiting to entertain you. Bringing Up Father, The Little King, Barney Google, Good Old Skippy, Jungle Jim, Polly and her pals, the Katzenjammer Kids, Trips and Casper, Way Out West, Tilly the Toiler, Mickey Mouse, and many others. Be sure you get the big, full-colored Comic Weekly with your Hearst newspaper next Sunday. And don't forget our date next week at this same time for another chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, who is today freed of the greatest threat to his power, the fragment of kryptonite. Learning that a piece of kryptonite, a fragment of the shattered planet on which Superman had been born, had the strange power to rob the Man of Steel of his strength, a woman called the Scarlet Widow stole it from the Metropolis Museum. In a desperate attempt to recover the fragment, Superman lost consciousness, and the widow placed him in a cedar chest with a small piece of the kryptonite and dropped him into the sea. The tide carried the chest to a sandbar near shore, where a fisherman and his young daughter Abby were wrecked while trying to retrieve it. Clinging to the cedar chest, they were swept into a savage riptide, and as it broke apart in the wild water, they appeared doomed. As we continue now in the cold, raging sea, Superman, freed of the presence of the kryptonite, is regaining consciousness. Listen.
What? Where am I?
Abby! Abby!
I hear someone. There's another voice. Great Scott. I'm in the sea. How did I... Wait a minute. There's a girl caught in the riptide. And an old man. The tide's pulling them under. Away for them! Away!
Picking the girl and her father from the seething water, Superman, once more in possession of all his amazing powers, streaks to the fisherman's shack on the beach, the two wet, bedraggled figures in his arms. There, after the girl and her father have changed into dry clothes, they sit drinking hot tea, listening in wide-eyed amazement to the man in the red cape and blue costume.
I'm sorry I can't tell you who I am or how I came to be in that cedar chest. But I do want you to trust me and promise not to mention a word of what happened today.
Oh, my stars. I don't hardly know what happened to you, Pa.
Well, it seems like I know, Abby, but I can't believe it. This here feller seemed to be dead in that there box. But the next thing you know, he was flying us out of the rip.
I didn't know for sure this was our own kitchen. I'd be sure we were in another world.
Well, I assure you you're not in another world, Abby. Now, about that promise. It's very important that my enemies and yours don't find out what happened.
Our enemies?
We ain't got no enemies, mister. Not since the war's been over.
Oh, yes, you have. Although the war is officially over, there are many evil, fanatical men and women who are plotting ways and means of building toward another war and undoing all we fought for.
My stars.
You mean them Nazis and Japs?
Yes, and their sympathizers. There are many of them. Some were involved in this attack on me. Now, will you promise to keep all that happened here today a strict secret?
Oh, of course we will. Won't we, Pa?
Of course.
I don't think now that the kryptonite itself can kill me, but apparently it can keep me unconscious as long as I'm within 10 feet of it. My body needs food, so eventually, if I'd been carried back to the bottom of the sea, I'd have perished.
Yeah?
Krypton what?
Huh? Oh, never mind. By the way, Abby, you said you saw a piece of green glowing metal fall out of the cedar chest.
Oh, that's right. Remember, Pa?
Yep. Looked like phosphorus, it did.
How big was it?
Oh, it was pretty small. How big would you say, Pa?
No bigger than a pebble.
Well, that means they put only a tiny fragment in the chest with me. Got to recover the rest of it in a hurry before they... I'm going now. And thanks again. By the way, Mr.
Hinkle, Sam Hinkle.
Mr. Hinkle, I'll see that you get a new dory to replace the one you smashed on the rocks.
There ain't no reason for you to get me a new dory, mister. We didn't know 'twas you in that old box. The honest truth is, we went out 'cause Abby here had a fool notion might be fancy dresses and stuff in it.
That's right.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe Abby found her fancy dresses at that.
Oh, I don't know what you mean, mister.
Well, you'll both be hearing from me. Thanks again.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
This is the closest call I've ever had. And it mustn't happen again. I'd better go back to the planet first. Up and away!
Leaving the humble fisherman's shack, Superman streaked through the late afternoon skies toward Metropolis, red capes streaming in the wind. Meanwhile, in Perry White's office at the Daily Planet, the gray-haired editor, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane are frantic with worry at the mysterious absence of Clark Kent.
Maybe you ought to try broadcasting for Superman again, Miss Lane. He can find Mr. Kent.
I've been broadcasting for hours, Jim, and all I've done is lost my voice. He must be beyond the range of our station.
Or else he's in trouble.
Superman in trouble? Don't be silly, Olsen.
But Mr. Kent said if Superman didn't come to headquarters with the kryptonite by midnight last night, he might never be seen again.
Kent didn't know what he was talking about. He got himself all steamed up about the kryptonite being a danger to Superman, and he wound up by getting himself in trouble. Fancies himself a detective and walks into a trap. Of all the dumb, the asinine, the half-witted,
Talking about someone I know, Chief?
What?
Kent.
Mr. Kent. Look, it's Mr. Kent.
Is it really you?
In the flesh, Lois.
Well, where have you been?
We've been
Oh,
going
now,
crazy here.
wait,
What-
Take it easy. Take it easy. What's all the excitement about?
Huh?
What's all the excitement about?
What?
Why, you.
Watch your blood pressure, Chief.
Now, what? You care about my blood pressure? Where have you been the last 48 hours? Not that I should know, of course. I'm only your editor, the fool who pays you your salary.
Why, well, you
We've
see,
been worried to
We
death.
thought you'd been trapped by the vulture or one of the others who escaped with him.
Well,
We've been driving the police department crazy. Lois has practically lost her voice broadcasting an SOS for Superman.
Superman?
Yeah, we thought maybe he could find you, Mr. Kent.
Oh, well, sorry you were all so worried about me.
He's sorry now. Isn't that noble of him?
Well, now...
That doesn't answer my question, Kent. Where have you been?
Well, I started out to look for the kryptonite.
Well, did you find it?
No.
How about Superman? You told Captain Donovan that Superman might never be seen again.
Superman's all right, Jim. For the moment.
For the moment?
Mm-hmm.
How do you mean, Clark?
Well, just what I say. He's all right until the widow and Sniggers and the others make another attempt against him with the kryptonite.
The widow and who?
He said Sniggers.
Oh, who's the widow and Sniggers?
They're the ones who have the kryptonite. A woman called the Scarlet Widow and a little cockney named Sniggers. They're working with the Vulture, the Teufel, Papa Rausch, and the Laugher.
How do you know?
Well, I haven't time to explain now. There's a lot to do, and it must be done quickly. Look, Chief, I've written descriptions of the Scarlet Widow and Sniggers. I want you to run them on the first page of the Daily Planet. Explain that they're a menace to Superman and to society, and ask anyone seeing them to communicate with us or the police department.
Now, wait a minute. What?
There isn't a minute to waste, Chief, not a second. If you hurry, you can get those descriptions into the last edition. Jim, you come with me.
Oh, gosh, sure, you bet. Where, Mr. Kent?
Well, you'll find out. Come on.
Now, look here, Kent. What do you mean, just walking into my office and giving me and my staff orders?
Well, it's only...
I'm the editor here, and I want to tell you to tell me what this is all
I've
about.
told you all I can now, Chief. Please trust me.
Trust him? Of all the...
Really? Clark Kent, the one-man detective agency and police department. Haven't you any orders for me, Sherlock?
No, but I do have a favor to ask of you, Lois.
What's that?
Would you please go to the best store in town and get two of the fanciest party dresses you can buy?
What?
I don't know what size, but she's about the same height and weight as Jim.
She?
Uh-huh.
Dresses? Why, Clark Kent, don't tell me you've got a girl.
Huh? Oh,
yes.
Of course not, Lois. No, you see...
Oh, look at him blush.
No,
Oh, Mr. Kent's got a girl.
Never mind that. Now, I want to know what this... Where are you going?
Something
Now you
important.
come back
We've
here.
got to move fast.
Now you come on back here.
Leaving Perry White's office, Clark Kent hurries to the elevators, followed by the eager Jimmy Olsen. What is so important that Kent forgot? We'll return in a moment for the climax of today's episode. But first, here again is your announcer.
I'm telling you, gang, these new comic buttons, the new prizes in packages of Kellogg's Pep, are just about the most fun that ever happened. In the first place, they're old familiar favorites. You know, pals you've been following in the funny papers for a long time, like Smitty and Herbie and Skeezix and Superman, of course. And they're done up in full comic strip colors, printed clear and bright as anything on sparkling white metal buttons, the kinds you can pin on your jacket or dress or cap. Then there's the fun of collecting all 18 different buttons, trading duplicates with your friends. Boy, makes a swell hobby. You get 'em as exclusive prizes in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. So get busy on your collection. Ask Mom to get you a package tomorrow. That's P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
Now, back to the adventures of Superman. Hurrying to Metropolis Police Headquarters with Jimmy Olsen, Clark Kent found that Inspector Henderson was out. After speaking to Captain Donovan, Henderson's assistant, Kent, Jimmy, and Donovan entered a police car with several officers and were driven swiftly to a 65-story apartment building on Boulevard Drive. As we join them now, they have just entered a private elevator, and Captain Donovan is taking it up.
You'll broadcast the descriptions of the Scarlet Widow and Sniggers all over the country, Captain Donovan?
So on the teletype now, Cap.
Good.
But I want to look at this apartment you say they were in with the Vulture, the Teufel, and those two others.
Oh, Papa Rausch and the Laugher. Gosh, I want to see their apartment, too.
Yeah, you'll see it in a moment. It's the penthouse of this building. But they're not there now. That's why I was in such a hurry to give you the descriptions of the widow and Sniggers, Captain.
How do you know they're not there now, Cap?
Oh, sure of it.
Mr. Kent says they all beat it with the kryptonite.
He says. The building superintendent didn't see them move out.
This is a private elevator for the penthouse, and it opens on the side of the building. They could easily have left without being seen, especially at night.
We'll soon find out. Here's the 65th floor. Okay, men. Quiet now.
You don't have to be careful. I tell you, there's nobody in the apartment.
How can you tell, Mr. Kent?
Yeah. Maybe Kent looks through doors and walls like this fellow Superman he's so worried about.
Huh?
Ring the bell, Haley.
Okay, Captain.
Yeah, you see, I told you.
Ring it again, Haley.
Right.
Gosh, maybe they're all waiting in there with guns.
No, they're not, Jim.
Okay. You got the passkey, Haley. Open her up.
No, wait a minute. Don't open the door.
Huh? What's the matter with you, kid?
Don't open it, I tell you. Don't.
You just said nobody was in there.
I know, but don't open it. Don't.
Amazed, Jimmy Olsen, Captain Donovan, and the police officers look at Clark Kent, whose face has turned ghostly pale. What has Kent as Superman seen in the Scarlet Widow's apartment? Don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, who is today again on the trail of the Scarlet Widow and her deadly weapon, the kryptonite. Narrowly escaping death when the Scarlet Widow placed him in a cedar chest with a small piece of kryptonite and consigned the chest to the bottom of the sea, Superman knows that he must recover the main fragment of kryptonite from the Widow if he is to stay alive. With Jimmy Olsen, Police Captain Donovan, and several officers, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, returned to the penthouse apartment of the Scarlet Widow. Although he said the apartment was now empty, Kent suddenly called out to the amazed officers not to open the door. And as we continue now, in the foyer outside the widow's 65th story apartment, Kent, pale and trembling, his eyes glazed, staggers backward into the elevator. Listen.
Well, what's the matter, Mr. Kent? Are you sick?
I feel a little weak, Jim.
Oh, gosh, you're pale as a ghost. And you're shaking.
Well, I'll be all right in a minute. I didn't look in the flower pots. I took for granted that the widow would take all the stuff away with her.
Oh, what stuff?
Huh?
What are you talking about, Mr. Kent?
Look, Jim, I want you to listen and then do exactly as I say, will you?
Oh, sure I will. But what's this all about? First you say there's nobody in the apartment, and then you start yelling not to open the door.
I know.
And then you practically pass out.
Oh, never mind. Now listen and get this straight. I want you to go into the apartment.
Aren't you coming?
I can't.
Why not? Look, you're not having a heart attack or something, are you?
Oh, no. I just felt a little weak for a moment, but I'm all right now.
Well, maybe you ate something that didn't agree with you.
Never mind me. Just listen and don't interrupt. Now, there's a flower pot standing near the entrance to the living room. In the earth around the plant is a tiny piece of green glowing metal. I want you to get it.
What for? What is it?
Will you stop interrupting? This is important. Pick up that piece of metal with a handkerchief, not with your bare hands, and take it to Dr. John Milliken at the University of Metropolis Laboratory as quickly as you can.
But why? What?
Never mind the whys and whats. Just get the piece of metal and take it to Dr. Milliken. Tell him I'll be there very soon. Now get going.
Oh, wait. If Captain Donovan sees me taking anything, he'll throw me in the hoosegow.
No, he won't. There's more of the stuff in the other flower pots in the living room and on the terrace. As a matter of fact, you might call them to Donovan's attention, so he'll take them to headquarters. But warn them not to touch the stuff with their bare hands. All right, go ahead, Jim.
Okay. Where are you going?
I never saw anyone who could ask so many questions. I'm taking this elevator down. I'll have one of Donovan's men bring it up again. Now, don't fail me, Jim.
I won't, Mr. Kent.
Okay.
Leaving the building, Kent waits nearby, hidden in the early evening shadows, until he sees Jimmy emerge and enter a taxicab. A short time later, in his true identity of Superman, Kent knocks at the laboratory door of Dr. John Milliken, world-famous physicist.
Good evening, Dr. Milliken.
Superman.
That's right, Doctor.
Come in.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to see you. I haven't had that pleasure since we worked together on the atom.
That's right.
Now, come into the laboratory and tell me what I can do for you.
If you don't mind, Doctor, let's talk right here,
It will be much more comfortable at my desk. There are
I know.
chairs.
I'm sorry, but I can't go to your desk.
I don't understand.
There's something very dangerous to me on your desk, Doctor.
Dangerous to
Yes.
you?
I know it sounds fantastic, but that tiny piece of green glowing metal that young Olson just left with you is my deadliest enemy.
What? Oh, now look here, Superman. Do you feel perfectly well?
I feel fine now, Doctor, but it's the gospel truth. That fragment is a piece of the former planet Krypton, where I was born. And by some strange chemical action, I lose all my strength when I come within 10 feet of it.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Now, to repeat, it's true, only too true. I told Dr. Whistler, meteorologist of the museum, my story before he died. It was his theory that the substance of the former planet Krypton created a race of supermen there. But here on Earth, a fragment of kryptonite has just the opposite effect on a former inhabitant of that planet, meaning me. In this atmosphere, the kryptonite robs me of all my strength.
Whistler said that? Amazing.
Yes, unfortunately, right after Dr. Whistler died, some of my enemies managed to steal the kryptonite, and last night they almost succeeded in doing away with me.
Oh, good heavens.
When they learn I'm still alive, I'm sure they'll try to destroy me again.
Don't say that. We need you. You've been of tremendous service to this country.
Thank you, Doctor. Then perhaps you'll help me?
How can I help you?
Examine that sliver of kryptonite on your desk.
That phosphorescent metal, is that kryptonite?
That's right. Study that kryptonite, Doctor. You're the greatest physicist in the world. Perhaps you can discover how I can defend myself against it.
Of course, I'll do my best. But it seems so unbelievable that this sliver of kryptonite can knock you out.
It will ultimately destroy me, unless you can develop some defense against it.
I'll get to work on it at once. But I can't promise anything, you understand?
I understand. But I'm counting on you, Doctor. You're my last hope.
I'll do everything in my power, naturally. Now, where can I contact you if I have anything to report?
Call Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. Just tell him it's important that you see me. Don't give the message to anyone else.
Kent can reach you in an emergency.
Well, I keep in touch with Kent, you might say. Well, now I've got to try to pick up the trail of the kryptonite before it's used against me again. Good luck, Dr. Milliken.
I'm going to need it. Here, I'll take you to the elevator.
No, thanks. I see your skylight is open. I'll use that if you don't mind. So long, Doctor.
Good night, Superman. Believe me, I'll do all I can.
I'm sure you will.
Up and away! Leaping up through the open laboratory skylight, Superman streaks away into the evening to take up his desperate search for the Scarlet Widow and the dreaded kryptonite. But meanwhile, in another Metropolis laboratory, a small, dirty basement room of cluttered tables, retorts, and a littered floor, a strange scene is taking place. The single window is closely boarded and nailed over with heavy black paper, and under the dim glow of an electric bulb hanging from the ceiling, two men lean over a test tube suspended above a Bunsen burner. In the tube is a small piece of green glowing metal and a heavy purplish liquid which boils violently and gives off a brilliant white light and hot steam. One of the men is squat and powerfully built, with a bald, bullet-shaped head and eyes magnified like a frog's behind abnormally thick spectacles. This is Der Teufel, who, until the war ended, was one of Germany's most brilliant scientists and espionage agents. The other man is tall and lean, with cold, pale eyes set in a sallow, impassive face. Watching the test tube, Der Teufel scowls.
Everything I've tried, Klaus, everything, but I am unable to dissolve the kryptonite.
All last night and all today you've worked on this problem, Teufel. Why is it so important to dissolve the kryptonite?
That is simple. Because of its effect on Superman, I am convinced that kryptonite is an even greater source of atomic energy than U-235, uranium. Now, do you understand?
No, and you must explain further, Teufel.
You are a blockhead. But see, I will try to make you understand. Everything on Earth is soluble. Everything can be dissolved, which means the kryptonite, too, if only the proper chemical agent can be discovered. And once the kryptonite is dissolved, do you not see what that means to us, Kraus? Do you not see?
Puzzled, the man, Kraus, waits for Teufel to explain. What has Der Teufel, whose name in English means the devil, in mind? We'll return in a moment to find out. But first, let's hear from our good friend.
You know what I heard the other day? Well, someone told me that one of the members of the gang was listening closely Monday when I first told you all about these brand new comic buttons, the new prizes in packages of Kellogg's Pep. And this young fellow was so pleased and excited with the big news, he came right out with a big yippee! Well, I bet you feel like that, too, when you get your first new comic button. It'll be one of your old favorite funny sheet characters, you know. Maybe Superman himself, or Skeezix, or Uncle Walt, or Smokey Stover. You know him, don't you? Or any one of 18 different buttons, each one a humdinger for color and sparkle. You'll get a big kick out of rounding out your collection of all 18 buttons. swapping duplicates with your pals, wearing them on your jacket or dress or cap. And here's the payoff, gang. You don't send in a single penny for these new comic buttons, not even a box top. You can't even buy them anywhere. You just ask Mom to get you plenty of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Inside every package, there's a swell prize. One of these brand new Thriller Diller comic buttons, or a military insignia or warplane button. So get in on the fun. Make sure Mom gets you a package of P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now back to the adventures of Superman. In a dirty secret basement laboratory under the streets of Metropolis, De Teufel, one of Germany's most brilliant scientists, has been unable to dissolve the piece of kryptonite which he stole from the Scarlet Widow. Kraus, one of his henchmen, expresses bewilderment.
As I said, Teufel, I am not a scientist, so tell me, why does it mean so much to us that the kryptonite be dissolved?
You will see for yourself. But first, I must return to Germany, to the Black Forest, where waiting for me is Herr Professor Milch. Milch is a great chemist, a genius. He will be able to dissolve the kryptonite if anyone can.
He will?
Yeah, I'm certain of it. Now listen to me, Kraus. The Scarlet Widow, the Vulture, and the Latter seek everywhere for me. So, too, do the American police.
All of them are dangerous, but none so dangerous as the Scarlet Widow.
I fooled her once, and I will do it again with your help. What you must do now, tonight, is to obtain papers for me, a disguise, and whatever else is necessary so that I can return to Germany at once.
See, Teufel, you ask me to take tremendous risks, not only with my own life, but with those of our comrades. It is only right that you should tell me why I do it.
You verrichte Dummkopf, it is I, der Teufel, who commands... all right, Kraus. I will tell you, when Herr Professor Milch dissolves the kryptonite, I intend to create an atom man.
An atom man?
Yeah. An atom man who from his very fingertips will unleash such a fury of horror and destruction upon our enemies as they have never even dreamed of. My atom man will forever reduce the great Superman and all our enemies to something even less than dust. Now, will you arrange for me to return to Germany?
It will be done, Herr Teufel, at once. Heil Hitler.
You mean Heil Teufel. It is I who will succeed where Hitler failed. Go now, Kraus. Hurry and arrange matters. Schnell.
His huge, distorted eyes gleaming behind his thick spectacles, De Teufel laughs gleefully at his monstrous vision. What is the atom man he has promised to create? And will it be able to destroy Superman as Teufel promises? Teufel, the devil? Fellows and girls, the plot against the Man of Steel is spreading swiftly, dangerously. So don't miss a single episode of his fight for his own life and for the life of humanity. Tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, and thrill to the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Corbett, Space Cadet. Midway in the asteroid belt, a vast scattering of cosmic fragments between the planets Mars and Jupiter, lies Prison Rock. barren asteroid of solid rock and dead soil. Here, beneath the great plastic bubble which holds an artificially created atmosphere, live the lifers, the most dangerous criminals in the universe. Entering the stone administration building, a prisoner trustee approaches the barred door of the warden's office. A stooped, gray-haired man with faded blue eyes and a kindly face. He peers through the bars and speaks.
It's me, Warden. Hogue.
Oh, just a minute, Hogue. Okay, come in.
Thank you, sir. Happy birthday, Warden.
Why, thank you, Hogue. How did you know it was my birthday?
Oh, I've been here a long time, sir. 20 years. You get to know things in that time. I've brought you these.
Roses. Hogue, you're a genius to make roses grow on this asteroid.
Patience and hard work, sir. Sorry there's only 3 of them.
Why, they're beautiful. You know, I can't help wondering sometimes. A man with your intelligence and love of beauty.
How I could be a habitual criminal, sir?
Yes. I can understand it with a man like Bull Carson, for instance. He's a brute, a killer. But you...
I made mistakes, sir. But believe me, I'll never make another.
Unfortunately, you won't get another chance. Men who come to the Rock aren't eligible for parole. And in your case, I'm sorry. No, I mean it. You've been a model prisoner, an excellent trustee, but there's nothing I can do. Well, thank you again, Hogue. I won't forget your thoughtfulness.
You certainly won't, Warden. Don't move.
Hogue, where did you get that heat ray? Put it down.
Don't move or I'll kill you. Sit down. No, not by your desk. In that chair there.
You must be crazy.
No, Warden. I've waited 20 years for this, planned every move while I rotted here. I'm leaving this rock.
You are crazy. There's no possible escape from this asteroid. You know that.
Oh, there's a way, Warden.
Hogue, do you realize there's a patrol rocket on guard outside our atmosphere shell every minute? They'll blast any ship that tries to get through to help you.
No ship's going to get through. It's the patrol rocket we aim to use.
What are you talking about? Hogue, put down that ray gun. The guard will be here any second.
No, they won't.
No, don't.
Okay, Bull.
Got him, eh, Hogue?
Naturally. He's trusted me for years. Wait, I'll open the door for you.
Good boy. Is he dead?
I don't think so. How about the guards?
We took care of everyone, the crumbs. It was easy the way you set it up. Except for the 6 guys with us, the other cons don't know what's going on yet.
Good. If they knew we'd have trouble. They'd all want to go along, and there's only room for the 8 of us who've had experience as rocketeers.
You're sure you can work it? We get the patrol to land here without them suspecting nothing.
Leave it to me. I know the code signal, everything. Tie up the warden. I'm going to the communications room.
Radar bridge control deck. Come in, Tom.
Controller Guy, what'll you have?
Roger Manning craves some excitement, Junior. Aboard Sully.
We're on patrol over Prison Rock, Spaceboy, which means we just go round and round
And round and round. I wish Astro was with us. At least I could insult him.
Don't blow your jets. Just 2 days more and we can go back to the academy.
It'll seem like heaven. Hey, wait, Tom. There's a message coming in. Call Captain Andrews.
Now, here's the captain now. Message coming in, sir.
Very well, Corbett. Patch it down, Manning.
Here it comes, sir. Calling Patrol Rocket. Code 16. Come in, please.
That's the Prison Rock code signal. Patrol Rocket Polaris to Prison Rock. Go ahead.
Emergency here, sir. The warden is very ill, and the medical officer says he must be taken to Marsport at once. Our operating facilities aren't adequate.
Can the warden speak to me?
No, sir. It's very urgent. The medical officer says every minute counts.
Very well, we'll come down at once. Have the warden ready for immediate travel. End transmission. All right, cadets. Prepare to put down on Prison Rock.
Well, Hogue, what happened?
The rocket's coming into land, Bull.
Great. How many men on the patrol?
Usually just an officer and 2 men.
3 of them. Let's get the reception committee together. This'll be a cinch. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Attention all spacemen.
Take advantage of this special offer. The greatest offer ever made by Kellogg's Pep. It's your opportunity to get official Space Cadet goggles. That's right, official Space Cadet goggles. The same kind of goggles worn by Tom Corbett out in the farthest reaches of space. Listen to this official description of space goggles issued by Space Academy Supply Headquarters. They're made out of one sweeping curved plastic plate, like one giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. Space goggles provide for a full range of vision and can even be worn over eyeglasses. Space goggles are issued in regulation colors. Now, spacemen, you want to wear your goggles anytime you're racing into the wind, on skates, on a bike, in a car. Get your space goggles now. Here's what to do. Get a box of delicious Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Then, you'll not only start the day with a spaceman's breakfast, swell-tasting Kellogg's Pep, but you'll also have a box top to help you get your goggles. Now, here's how. Send 25 cents. 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents. 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to this address. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't delay. Get your space goggles today.
Full of dangerous convicts have seized control of Prison Rock and have decoyed the patrol rocket Polaris manned by Captain Jeffers, Tom Corbett, and Roger Manning to the asteroid. Now on Prison Rock, Captain Jeffers has gone to the warden's quarters, leaving Tom and Roger with the Polaris. An unnatural silence seems to brood over the grim space island of solid stone cell blocks.
It's taking Captain Jeffers a long time to get back, Roger.
Well, the warden's sick, Tom. They got to get him ready for the trip to Marsport.
He was supposed to be ready when we landed. Say, doesn't it seem awfully quiet to you?
The guys in those cell blocks are here for life. What do you expect them to do, sing for joy?
They made a fair amount of racket last time I was here. Seems to me there were more guards in the compound that time, too.
Well, what do they need guards for? There's no place for the convicts to go, even if they broke out of their cells.
I suppose you're right, but...
Wait, Tom. Here comes somebody.
Oh, it's that trustee again. The one who met us when we landed.
Hard to believe he's a dangerous criminal.
He is, though, if he's here.
I know, but he looks like such a sweet old grandpa.
Quiet, Roger.
If you two gentlemen, please. Captain Jeffers wants you to join him at the warden's quarters.
Both of us?
Yes, sir. At once, he said.
Come on, Tom.
Oh, wait, Roger. It's against regulations to leave the rocket unguarded.
It'll be quite safe, sir.
Maybe, but just the same.
Oh, wait, Junior. Orders are orders, especially from Captain Jeffers.
Well, okay. Be right back.
Hey, what now?
Forgot something on board the Polaris. Be with you in a second.
It'll be your fault if Jeffers fuses our jets. Say, the air's pretty good here. Better than most places with an atmosphere shell, Mr.
Myron Hogue is the name, sir. Yes, our air plant is quite efficient. That's it over there, beyond the main cell block.
Uh-huh. Gosh, it's quiet here.
Well, sir, when men are resigned to their fate.
Oh, sure. Hey, Tom, what's keeping you?
Coming, Roger.
Oh, hurry up. Want to get us into real trouble?
Trouble? Oh, that's something we never have here. This way, gentlemen. In here, please.
What the... Tom, look, in the chair.
It's the warden, tied and gagged. What's going on here?
Outmove, sonny boys. Nice work, Holt.
A big guy with a ray.
Say, who are you, and where's Captain Jeffers?
Shut up. We got 'em all now, Holt.
That's it, Bull.
Well, this works out just dandy.
Tom, the trustee's got a ray gun, too.
Guess we walked into a prison break, Roger.
Yeah, prize space suckers. We and the captain both.
I said shut up. We'll take these two below with the others, Holt. Finish 'em and blast off in their rocket.
Finish us?
Keep your blaster on 'em. I'll take the warden.
Wait, Bull, listen.
It's just a guy sounding off. Come on.
No, wait. It sounds like... Well, here's Willie. What is it, Willie?
The con's in the blocks. They found out what we're up to. And they're sore. Say we ain't blasting off the rock without them.
I was afraid of that.
Get ready,
Don't
Roger.
try nothing, cadets.
Bull, if they all fight to get in the rocket, we're sunk.
Yeah, where are our guys, Willie, with the guns?
In the compound trying to hold the others back, but we need help.
Come on, Hope. We'll take care of them.
Willie, you watch these space boys. If they try anything, burn them.
Okay, Paul.
We'd better hurry. Come on. Just this one guy here now,
What
Tom.
move out of you and our singed and fancy britches?
I guess that's that.
We've got to do something, Roger.
Hey, what's that?
Something, Roger, now! With you, Tom! Now, Willie boy, take this! Get his gun hand, Roger. I got it. Good. This should hold, Willie.
That does it, Tom. Now to find Captain Jeffers and stop those convicts.
Wait, first untie the warden.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have you free in a moment, sir. Get his gag off, Roger. Right. There we are, warden.
Good work, boys. Come on now, hurry. Let's get on the audio channel and communicate with the Solar Guard.
Wait, sir. Captain Jeffers
We can't spare a second. The most dangerous criminals in the universe are loose. Follow me. Here's the communications room. We'll contact the Solar Guard. Have them here in short order.
Wait, warden. Roger, look.
Great guns.
The transmitters, everything wrecked.
We're sending no message. The convicts have been sure of that.
Well, what do we do? Hogan Bull will blast off and the others will finish us.
They won't blast off just yet, Roger.
Of course they will, Corbett. That was their scheme, to use the Polaris as a getaway rocket.
I know, sir, but I removed the control head and hid it in a jet tube. It'll take them a while to find it.
Hey, Junior, that was smart.
It'll only delay the inevitable, I'm afraid. Sooner or later, they'll Wait, I think they're coming back. We can see from this window. It's Bull Carson and his crowd.
I guess they've driven the other convicts back into the cell block.
And, brother, they look mad.
Do you think they discovered the control head is missing, Junior?
If they have, we need guns. Warden, where can we find...
No good Corbett at all. First thing Hogan Bull did was to raid the arsenal.
Uh-oh. That's dandy. Then we just wait here for those killers like sitting ducks.
This door will keep them out for a while. And we're too high up for them to scale the wall.
Well, it makes me feel a little better, Warden.
Snap out of it, Roger. This only gives us a breathing spell. Come on. Go on, get to work.
Sure, sprout wings and fly out the window?
No, smart boy, but I've been looking over this super frequency setup. I think maybe we can patch it up enough to get a message out.
Corbett, that'd be great.
If it works. Come on, let's get to work and find out.
Here they come.
Let's get at the equipment.
Open up, Warden. We know you're in there with those space boys.
Take my advice, Carson, and go back to your cell.
Are you kidding? Open up, I say.
Hand me the power coil, Roger.
Here you are.
You can't get off the asteroid, and the Solar Guard will be here soon. Give up and save your lives.
Listen, wise guy. We want the rocket control head. Tell us where it is and we'll leave you be. Don't tell us. We'll blast the door open and heaven help you then.
Uh-oh, here it comes, Tom. A ray blast.
Well, keep working, Roger. Don't stop.
We get the control head, Warden?
No! And if you'll listen to me...
Warden, get away from the door.
Those killers. If you boys can just fix that transmitter before they break in.
We're trying, sir. We're trying.
It's no use, Bull. These low-power rays can't knock over that door.
All right, what's keeping Willie? I sent him to the arsenal for the big stuff, the force projector.
He'll be along.
Here he comes. Willie, get a move on.
Coming, Bull. This thing's heavy.
Now we got power, real power. When we get that door down, watch me go to work on those cadets. Before I'm through with them, they'll wish they'd never been born.
They're too quiet out there. I don't like it, boys.
They'll just be good about 10 minutes longer. We'll have this transmitter ready to go. Hand me that frequency tuner, Rog.
Here you are. Won't be long now, Warden. We'll have the Solar Guard right out. Crater's aluminum.
Get back, Roger.
They've brought up the heavy-duty force projector. I was afraid of that.
By Jupiter, Tom, now we are sunk.
I'm afraid so, Roger, unless...
How do you like that, you space mugs? Give it a moment again, Willie.
They'll be through the door in no time.
Wait, Roger, I just thought of something. Warden, can we get to the atmosphere station, shut it down?
Hey, that'd cut off the air supply.
Great idea, but impossible. The only entrance is underground, and the passage to it starts below this building.
Again, Willie.
By the rings of Saturn, we gotta do something.
It's hopeless. In another minute, they'll have that door down.
Warden, wait. Where does the water come from to cool the air station generator?
Why, the canal which runs through the compound. You can see it from here.
That'd provide another entrance, then.
Yes.
Look, Warden. We can get out this window on our rope cable, swing the canal to the station, and shut it down.
By space, it'd work. But we've only got seconds to go. Another blast like that...
Boys, there are chemicals in that canal. Sulfuric and other acids. You'd be burned to death.
Oh, great.
Warden, you must have a couple of spacesuits here.
That's regulations in an artificial air
Why,
zone.
yes,
Well,
yes.
let's get them. They can stand anything but open, sustained flame. We're going swimming, Roger. Get into a spacesuit fast. Come on, Roger. Move those arms. Swim.
Yeah, but swimming in a spacesuit is like wading through Martian quicksand.
Tough, I know, but the air station's just beyond that bend, so swim.
Here they are, in the canal.
Bull spotted us.
Save your breath. Swim.
Let them have the heat ray.
They're firing.
Yeah, and coming close. See the water boil where the heat ray hit?
Get them. Get them.
Tom, the canal's on fire. The chemicals.
The heat ray must have ignited them. We're going to be burned to a crisp.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
When Tom Corbett and his crew blast off into space, every man on board makes sure he carries a set of official Space Cadet goggles. Every cadet wears space goggles as protection out in space. Well, now, you can get these very same space goggles. Whether you're working with tools, racing on a bike or skates, or blasting off into outer space, you want to have official space goggles with you every minute. Now, here's Tom Corbett to tell you more about official Space Cadet goggles.
Spaceman, you should send for your space goggles right away, because the sooner you send in, the sooner you'll get them. You know, these aren't ordinary goggles. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of clear-colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over your eyes. I've been down to Space Academy Supply headquarters, and they've got space goggles all ready to send out as soon as you let them know where to send them. So get going, spaceman. Send for your space goggles today.
And here's what you do. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep Box Top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep Box Top, your name and address. Mail to this address. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Now, spaceman, send for your official Space Cadet goggles now. And start off tomorrow with a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
In a desperate attempt to crush a convict's rebellion on Prison Rock asteroid, Tom and Roger decide to shut down the atmosphere station, which would end the revolt by depriving the mutineers of air. In spacesuits, they try to swim the canal which leads to the station, but the convicts fire heat rays into the canal, setting the chemicals in the water on fire. And now Tom and Roger are engulfed in a mighty mass of flame.
Tom, we're done for.
Unless our suits hold out.
Mine's starting to singe.
So's mine. Just get as low in the water as you can.
In a spacesuit, that's like keeping a cork underwater.
Only way, and swim. The water intake for the station isn't far anymore. Swim like blazes and pray.
Couldn't have stood it another second.
We made it, though. We're in the station.
By the craters of Luna. Let's get out of this sulfuric acid suit.
Better strip these spacesuits.
Won't take long. There goes my helmet.
And the suit's practically burned off me already. Where's the control panel? Over by the wall. You ready? Just about. Okay, Junior. Uh-oh. Company. Willie and another rat.
There they are. Get it.
Dive at their feet, Roger. Don't let them use those rays. Never a dull moment. Okay, mister. Try this for size. Sweet Willie, come to Papa, you space crumb. How you doing, Roger? Okay, Tom. Look out, Willie. I'm lowering the boom.
No.
There goes Willie. And here goes his playmate. Well, that's over, Tom. Not yet. Got the gang outside. Where do you turn the atmosphere off? Here. No, here. Yeah, that does it. Quick, put on a portable respirator. It's like I said before, Tom. Never a dull moment on this rock. Look, Roger, through the vent here. The convicts are starting to fold up. The revolt is over.
Yeah, beautiful sight. But, Tom, they'll die without air. The warden and Captain Shepard.
They're just blacking out now because the air's getting thin. They won't die. Not until we can disarm the convicts and turn the atmosphere back on. Come on, Roger. We've still got work to do.
Cadets Corbett and Manning, you did a splendid job, and congratulations. And thanks.
That goes for me, too, boys.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now, at ease. And make yourselves comfortable. We're going to be here a while yet.
Stay here? On the rock? Why, Captain?
We can't get off. While you boys were at the atmosphere station, Bull, Carson, and Hogue got away in the Polaris.
They got away?
No.
The solar guard has been alerted, and Carson and Hogue should be intercepted soon. I hope.
I hope is right. See, Junior, it's like I told you.
Yes, Roger. Never a dull moment.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when Tom and Roger, in peril of their lives, tangle again with the two most dangerous criminals in the universe in Part 2 of Revolt at Prison Rock. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Jan Merlin, William Keane, James Monks, and Joseph Boland. Today's program was written by Ben Peter Freeman and directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender. The bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's.
Did you have too many Easter eggs today? Dreaming about that vacation you can't take yet? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You are groping your way slowly through the dark hold of a ship at sea, moving carefully, step by step, searching intensely for something you dread to find, because you know that this ship carries a cargo of death. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight, at your request, we bring back one of our most popular escape stories. We escaped to a harbor front in Venezuela, and a grim voyage which started from there, as told by Martin Storm in his gripping tale, A Shipment of Mute Fate. I stopped on the wharf at La Guaira, looked up the gangplank toward the liner Chankay, standing there quietly at a mooring. The day was warm under a bright tropic sun. The harbor beyond the ship lay drowsy and silent. But all at once, in the midst of those peaceful surroundings, a cold chill gripped me, and I shivered with sudden dread. dread of the thing I was doing and was about to do. Too much had happened to turn back now. I'd gone too far to stop. I set the box down on the edge of the wharf, placed it carefully so as to be in plain sight, and within gunshot of the captain's bridge. I knew what I was going to do, but I couldn't forget that a certain pair of beady eyes were watching every move I made. Eyes that never blinked and never closed, just watched and waited. I turned and started up the gangplank.
It startled me, sir. Why, it's Mr. Warner.
Hello, Mother Willis. How's the best-looking stewardess on the 7th Sea?
Well, I'm fine, Mr. Warner. I guess I'd better run along now. Get on with my trouble.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That's a fine greeting after 2 months.
It's just that I'm so busy.
I don't believe a word of it. Sailing day's tomorrow. You're simply avoiding me, that's all.
Oh, no, really, I'm not.
And on the trip down from New York, you said I was your favorite passenger.
But I'm only...
Here. What's that you're carrying in your apron?
Oh, it's nothing. Just supplies.
Supplies? Let's have a look.
No, please.
It's a cat.
It's Clara, Mr. Warner. Mr. Bowman said I had to leave her ashore, and I just couldn't.
Who's Mr. Bowman?
The new second mate. Clara's been aboard with me for 2 years, and I just can't leave her here in a foreign country, especially with her condition so delicate and all.
Yes, I see. Well, I hope you get away with it.
Yes. You won't tell anyone.
Not a soul. As a matter of fact, if things don't work out right, we may both end up smuggling.
Happy to have you aboard on the trip down 2 months ago, Christopher, and I'm very glad you're coming along with us on the run back to New York.
Well, thanks, Captain Wood. There is one thing, though. I'm having a little trouble with the customs men here, and I wanted to...
can't do it, Christopher. I just cabled your father this morning. Told him I'd have done it for you if I possibly could. He sent a request from New York, you know.
Yeah, I thought he would. I wired him from upriver last week.
I hated to refuse, but it's absolutely out of the question.
Captain Wood, I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Responsibility to the passengers, son. We'll have women and children aboard. On a liner, the safety of the passengers comes ahead of anything else.
But with proper precautions...
Something might happen.
What?
I don't know what, but something might.
Carried worse things.
There isn't anything worse. Any skipper afloat will bear me out. No, Christopher, I simply can't take the chance. That's final.
Final. Wasn't final if I could do anything about it. I hadn't come down here to spend 2 months in that stinking backcountry and then be stopped on the edge of the wharf. 2 months of it. Heat, rain, insects, malaria. I'd gone clear in past the headwaters of the Orinoco. Traveled through country where every step along the jungle trail might be the last. Sanchez!
Si, Senor Wanda.
Better start looking for a place to camp. Be dark in a little while.
Si, senor. Very soon we'll turn to red. Camp on rocks by water. This is a very bad country.
This very bad country. We've been saying that for 10 days now. Very bad country.
Si, Senor Wanda. This very bad country.
Yes, skip it. For all the luck we've had so far, it might as well be Central Park.
Central Park? I don't understand.
Never mind. Yeah, what's the matter? Quiet now. Sanchez, what's wrong?
They're in the past. See. Bushmaster.
Bushmaster. The deadliest snake in the world. Bushmaster. Latin name was Lachesis muta. Mute face. It lay there in the center of the path, a 10-foot length of silent death, coiled loosely in an undulant loop, ready to strike violently at the least movement. Here was the one snake that would go after any animal that walked, or any man. It lay there and watched it, not moving, not afraid, ready for anything. The splotch of its color stood out like some horrible, gaudy floor mat lying there on the brown background of the jungle, waiting for someone to step on it. Here was what I'd come 2,000 miles for, a bushmaster. The natives captured the snake, and Sanchez brought it to me in a rubber bag. He was shaking so hard I thought for a moment the thing had struck him.
One thing you must Senor Warner. No turn him loose in Venezuela. Because he know I the one who catch him. And he know where I live.
All right, Sanchez. I'll keep an eye on it.
He also know you pay me to catch him. All the time he watch and wait. He'll no forget that, Senor Warner. Because he no forget. Not ever.
Well, after going through all that trouble and danger and laying out $1,500, I wasn't going to let a pig-headed ship captain stop me at the last minute. At least not as long as the cables were still in operation between La Guardia and New York. Good morning, Captain Wood. The boys at the hotel said you wanted to see me.
That's right, Christopher. Sit down.
Thanks.
Seems you weren't willing to let matters stand the way we left him yesterday.
I'm sorry to go over your head, Captain Wood, but I had to. The museum sent me a long way to get that snake. I'm not going to be stopped by red tape. This will be the only live bushmaster ever brought to the United States.
Yes, if I had my way. Orders are orders. Got a cable from the head office this morning. All right, Christopher, suppose we talk about precautions.
I'll handle it any way you say.
You've got to have a stronger box. That crate's too flimsy.
Well, it's stronger than it looks. A wire screen on top of old Wildcat. But anyway, I bought a heavy sea chest this morning. We'll put the crate inside of it.
Sounds all right. That lock on it.
Yeah, heavy padlock. It's fixed so the lid can be propped open to crack without unlocking. Snake's got there.
In dirty weather, that lid has to stay shut. I'll take no chances.
Fair enough.
We'll keep the thing in my inside cabin where I sleep. Can't have it in the baggage room. And nobody on board is to know about it.
Whatever you say, Captain. We won't have any trouble after all. It's only an animal. It doesn't have any magical powers.
I saw a bushmaster in the zoo at Caracas once. They had it in a glass cage with double walls. Never moved. Just lay there and looked at you as long as you were inside. Enough to give a man the creeps.
Didn't know they had a bushmaster at the Caracas Zoo.
They don't now. They found the glass broken one morning and the snake gone, the night watchman dead. They never learned exactly what happened.
Well, the watchman must have broken the glass by accident some way.
The way they figured it, the glass was broken from the inside. We sailed in 4 hours.
Into the Caribbean with perfect weather and a sea as smooth as an inland lake. The barometer dropped a little on the third day, but cleared up overnight, left nothing worse than a heavy swell. But in spite of the calm seas and pleasant weather, I found myself feeling more and more often an ominous foreboding. I was developing an almost unnatural fear of that snake. Stay clear of the passengers pretty much. Got the habit of dropping into Captain Wood's quarters several times a day. Kept the heavy box underneath his berth. Approached it quietly and shined my flashlight through the open crack. Never once could I catch that 12-foot devil asleep, or even excited. He'd be lying there half-coiled, his head raised a little, staring out of those beady black eyes, waiting. It'd still be like that when I turned away to leave. Maybe that's what bothered me. That horrible and constant watchful waiting. In the name of heaven was he waiting for?
Hello there, Mr. Warner.
Oh, how are you, Mother Willis?
My, but you and the captain spend an awful lot of time around this cabin. I'm beginning to think the two of you must have some guilty secret.
No, nothing like that, Mother Willis. I don't know about Captain Wood, but I certainly don't have any guilty secrets. Well, she's running quite a swell out there, Mr. Bowman.
It's a little heavy, all right, Mr. Warner. Just a storm passed through to the west of us yesterday when the glass dropped.
You think it missed us then, huh?
Yeah, that's what the mate figures. Sure stirred up some water, though.
This will put half the passengers in that bunk. They'll keep Mother Willis so busy. Hey, look at the size of that wave.
Huh? Great sea horse of that. We're going to take it on the port bow. Hang on.
That was a freak if there ever was one. Not another wave that size in sight.
Oh, you see them like that sometimes, even in a calm sea. Why, you gotta get below, Mr. Warner. That water probably did some real damage in the officer's deck.
Yeah, what did you say?
The wheel companionway was open on the port side. The bridge cabins must have taken a pretty bad smashing up. They're right below the... Something wrong, Mr. Warner?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Bowman. At least I hope not. I didn't stop to find Captain Wood. Of course, I knew it was only one chance in 1,000, but the chances against that freak wave were 1 in 1,000, too. I stumbled down the companionway and along the passage to the captain's cabin.
Oh, come in, Mr. Warner.
Mother Willis.
My, this cabin a mess. Trying to get some of these things out to dry.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to... Where's that box that was under the captain's bunk?
Oh, that? Well, I just threw it out on the deck.
What?
Well, there's a desk over there slid into it. It was all smashed.
But the small box inside of it, what happened to it?
Oh, they were both splintered, Mr. Warner. Broke wide open.
No.
Oh, Mr. Warner, you're white as a sheet.
Mother Willis, go find Captain Wood. Tell him to come down here immediately.
Well, of course, Mr. Warner. I'll go tell him right away. I can finish up here later.
I pulled open the top drawer of the bureau inside. Took out the captain's flashlight and loaded pistol. Mother Willis had left the mop standing by the door. I put my foot on the head of it and snapped off the handle. Every move I made turned into slow motion. I could hear my own heartbeat. Slowly, I started to search the cabin. Sodden heaps of clothing and furnishings were scattered around on the wet black floor. I punched at them one at a time, holding the gun cocked, flashlight pointing along the stick. Nothing. I worked around the room, throwing the light into the dark corners, back of the desk, under the bunk. Wherever I turned, I could feel those cold, unblinking eyes at my back, watching, waiting. Using the stick, I pushed open the closet door and threw the light inside. Carefully, I poked at the boxes and junk on the floor. Snake was not in the closet. Inch by inch, I covered the entire cabin. And only then a horrible realization began to dawn on me. Captain Wood.
Mother Willis just told me. Well, Christopher, it's happened.
That's right, it's happened.
After you found the gun, we better start searching the cabin here.
Captain Wood, I just finished searching it.
Oh, then. Women, kids, and that thing loose on board. 1,000 places for it to hide. Heaven help us, Christopher. Anybody now, gentlemen. I didn't call you in here to pass judgment. The thing's done, and that's that.
Well, you're right there, Captain.
What we have got to do is to make up our minds how we're going to handle it. And it'd be easier if we didn't have to tell the passengers and crew. I've seen panics aboard liners before. Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Bowman. But I don't quite see how we can avoid it.
They've got a right to know. As long as that snake's loose, everybody on board's in the same danger, and they all ought to know about it. Captain Wood, that thing is 12 feet long. It can't simply crawl into a crack. Why don't we make a quick search of the whole ship before we spread any alarm?
Now, so do that, Christopher. As far as I can see, the only place it couldn't be is in the boilers or on top of the galley stove.
Well, it might have crawled overboard.
We can't count on that. We've got to assume it's on the ship somewhere.
Yeah, and that could be anywhere. In a coil of rope on a deck chair.
Our bucket or in a pile of clothes. Yes, or under some woman's berth or a baby's crib.
You've already said it. Bushmaster could be anywhere. We've got to do something. We've got to do it fast.
All right. I think the best idea is to follow Mr. Warner's suggestion and make a quick search first. You agree to that?
Right.
And if we don't find it, we'll have to warn the passengers.
We've got to find it. Alone in the dim baggage room, I went through the same movements as I had earlier in the captain's cabin. Gun in one hand, flashlight in the other, poking into every dark corner, behind every trunk and box. Since the baggage room was empty, I could keep the gun cocked and ready. The rest of those poor devils were having to do the same thing. Barehanded. All over the ship, the search went on.
Here now, Stuart, what on earth are you doing rummaging through my cabin?
Just checking up, ma'am.
Well, I'm quite sure there's nothing in here that has to be checked.
Sorry, ma'am. Captain's orders. It'll only take a few minutes.
Well, I never heard of such thing. A passenger simply doesn't have any privacy at all. I've traveled on a lot of different lines, but
Sorry, sir. wonder if you mind moving over to the other rail. I'd like to look through these lockers.
Sure, go ahead. What's the matter? You lost something?
No, just looking things over.
Oh, there's nothing in there but life preservers.
Yeah, that's right.
You must be getting ready to sink the boat. Gonna collect the insurance, huh? Gonna send us all to the bottom, huh?
But not one of us could find that deadly shape, coiled in some dark corner or outstretched along a window seat. Not one of us caught a glimpse of that horrid head with its beady, black, watchful eyes. The thing lay waiting out there somewhere along the deck, shaded in the gathering dusk. But where? We didn't know. Nearly dark when we met together again in the chart room.
Well, gentlemen, there's no other way around it. We'll risk all the time we can. We've got to warn the passengers. How'll we do it, Captain? Call them all together in the lounge? No, if we did anything like that, we'd be asking for a panic. We'll get one, whether we ask for it or not. We pick a few men and go through the cabin decks. Get them individually, inside the cabin. Watch for any that act like they might cause trouble. We'll keep an eye on them. Handle crew the same way. Right, Captain. As soon as you're finished, arm all the deck officers and start searching again. Our only chance of preventing a riot is to find that damnable snake.
The slow nightmare that followed grew worse by the hour. None of us slept. All the ship's officers not on duty kept on with that endless search. Passengers locked themselves in their cabins or huddled together in the lounges, knowing all the time that no spot on board could be called safe. Fear was a heavy fog in the lungs of all of us, and every light on the vessel burned throughout the night. Morning came, brought no relief. Terror and tension mounted by the hour.
There now, Mrs. Crane. Stop getting yourself all worked up and go back to your cabin.
Oh.
The horrid thing's probably crawled overboard
you're just
anyway.
saying that. You don't pay to say that. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Now, everything's going to be all right.
If only we can do something. If all of us could only get off the ship, they could fumigate it. Yes, that's it. We've got to get off the ship. We've got to get away.
Wait. Mr. Bowman, he's going to jump.
Hurry on, lady. Nice work, Mr. Bowman. Get her down to her cabin. And whatever you do, don't turn her loose.
You never know when it might strike you. You can't put on a coat or move a chair without risking your life. Something's got to be done. It might be right here in this lounge.
Yeah, all right, mister. Better quiet down and take it easy.
Take it easy? You're a great officer. Why don't you do something about it? That thing might be crawling around here right under our feet somewhere.
No. They're trying to start a panic.
I got a right to talk. I don't want to die. Nobody's going to tell me what.
The second night passed. Morning came round again. A gray and rainy day that dragged past. And then night came down again. Third night of the terror. Again, every light burned. The whole ship seethed in the throes of incipient panic. Faced by a horror they'd never met on the sea before, crew and officers alike were on the verge of revolt. Passengers sat huddled in a trance-like stupor, ready to scream at the slightest unknown sound. 7 bells, I made my way forward to the chart room, found Captain Wood bent over his desk.
Oh, hello, Christopher. Come on in. Sit down.
It's got to be somewhere, Captain Wood. It's got to be.
I don't know. You could search the ship for 6 months and never touch all the places aboard. If we can only hold out for 2 more days, we'll be in.
What's the Home Office say?
Use the latest wireless from them. Keep quiet and keep coming. What else can we do? How is it on the deck?
Pretty bad. Anything could happen.
Yes, that's why I took the guns away from the men. 1 pistol shot and we'd have a riot on our hands.
Whole thing's my fault, Captain Wood. That's what I can't forget.
Take it easy.
Now, if there was only some way I could pay for it myself alone.
I know how you feel. But it's no more your fault than mine, those men who asked you to bring that snake back alive. Nobody planned this. You'd better try to get a little sleep, boy.
Sleep?
Mr. Bowman made some coffee down in the steward's galley a while ago. Why don't you go on down and get yourself a cup? Then rest for a couple of hours.
Rest? I can't rest.
Christopher, Not going to help anything if you stumble through a hatch half asleep and break your neck, is it? You go and get some coffee. One way or another, we've got to hold out for 2 more days.
Light was on the steward's galley. Coffee pot was standing on the stove. Still warm, so I didn't bother to heat it. Poured out a cup, carried it over and set it on the porcelain tabletop in the center of the room. Started to light a cigarette. The door of the pan cupboard beneath the sink was standing slightly ajar. I happened to glance toward it. I dropped the cigarette, moved slowly backward. I'd found the Bushmaster. As I moved, the snake slid out of the cupboard in a single sinuous glide, slid back into a loose coil on the galley floor, never taking his eyes off me. I moved slowly back, waiting any moment for that deadly, slithering strike. How had he known it was me? He'd stayed quiet when Bowman was here. How had he picked the first time in 5 days that I was without a gun? My hands touched the bulkhead behind me, and I stopped. Only then I realized the terror of what I'd done. The call button and the door were on the far side of the room. I backed into a dead end. I stared at the snake in fascination, expecting any moment the ripping flash of those poison fangs. The horrid coil tightened a little, and was still again. 10 million years of evolution to produce this moment. Homo sapiens versus Lachesis muta. A man against mute fate. And all the odds were on fate. I knew then that I was going to die. Feel the sweat run down between the painted walls and the palms of my hands pressing against it. My skin crawled and twitched, and the pit of my stomach was as cold as ice. No sound but the rush of blood in my ears. The snake shifted again, drawing into a tighter coil, always tighter. Why didn't the devil get it over with? Then, just for an instant, his head veered away. Something moved over by the stove. I didn't dare turn to look at it. Slowly, it moved out into my line of vision. It was a cat. That scrawny cat Clara that Mother Willis had sneaked to Fort LaGuardia. Its back was arched and every hair stood on it. It moved stiff-legged now, walking in a half circle around the snake. The Bushmaster moved slowly and kept watching the cat. He tightened. He was going to strike at any second. He struck and missed. The cat was barely out of reach. Now she was walking back and forth again. She was asking to die. Missed again. By a fraction of an inch. He was striking now without even going to a full coil. Missed. Again and again, always missing by the barest margin. Each time the cat danced barely out of reach, and each time she countered with one precise pat of her dainty paw, bracing her skinny frame on 3 stiff legs. And then suddenly I realized what she was doing. The Bushmaster was hurt. The one strike was just an instant slow, but in that split-second shot, claws raked across the evil head and ripped out both the lidless eyes. The cat had deliberately blinded the snake. He didn't bother to question out, but slid after her in a fury, striking wildly and rapidly, always missing. And every strike was a little slower than the last one, until finally... The snake's neck stretched out at the end of the strike. The cat made one leap and sank her razor-sharp teeth just back of the ugly head. Sank until they crunched bone. Something clawed and clung as the monstrous snake flailed and lashed on the floor, striving to get those hideous coils around her, trying to break her hold, to shake off the claw in certain paralyzing death that gradually crept over him and at last stilled his struggles forever. I took a deep breath. The first in minutes. The cat lay on her side on the floor, panting. Resting, and the fight just over. She had a right to rest. That mangy, brave, beautiful alley cat. It just saved my life. And maybe others as well. But as I turned toward the stove, I suddenly became very humble. And I knew all at once what a small thing a human being really is. I and others aboard were still alive only by the merest accident. There were 3 reasons why that cat had fought and killed the world's deadliest snake. And those 3 reasons came tottering out from under the stove on shaky little legs. 3 kittens with their eyes bright with wonder and their tails stiff as pokes. Up on the decks, hundreds of passengers were waiting for the news that the days and nights of terror were ended. They could wait a little longer. I pulled open the doors of the cabinet, found a can of milk. Then I dropped down on my knees on the floor of the galley.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight brought to you A Shipment of Mute Faith by Martin Storm, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, featuring Harry Bartell as Chris Warner, Barry Kroger as Captain Wood, and Peggy Weber as Mother Willis, with Don Diamond, Sarah Selby, and Frank Gerstle. Special effects by David Light. The musical score was conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Next week,
you are hanging by your fingertip on the sheer face of an ice cliff, suspended 2,000 feet above instant death, with your strength running out, and with no chance for escape.
Next week, Escape with C.E. Montague's exciting story, Action. Good night, then, until the same time next week, when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Checks and Wheat Checks, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Commander Corey is in a spaceship trying to contact Cadet Happy, who's in a spacesuit on the surface of Neptune's second moon.
Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy. Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy on Neptune number 2. Happy, disregard previous orders. You can break spaceophone silence. Come in, Happy.
Cadet Happy here, Commander.
This is Urgent Hap. Gargant's men have orders to keep you from reaching the scout ship.
I know. Well, one of his gang's right behind me now with a blast gun.
Better surrender, Hap. There's nothing else you can do.
But, Commander, I've got to reach that ship. I'm low on oxygen. 5 minutes, all the air will be gone.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival. Hey, Space Patroller, it's getting kind of late and I'm getting kind of hungry. Hey, let's take time out right now for a big bowl full of Rice Checks.
Swell, Captain Two-Fellow. Rice Checks. Tops with me.
Tops with me, too, Space Patroller. And it'll be tops with you, gang. Tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go. There's one bowl. And here's one from me. Space Patrollers, when you fill up your own bowls with those neat triple toasted shredded rice biscuits, you're getting one spoonful after another of the easiest, tastiest bite-size eating ever, because Rice Chex are tops for taste and size, and tops for get up and go, too. Mornings after you finish off a good, nourishing breakfast with Rice Chex, you'll see what I mean. You'll be right there with the right answers in school and the right scores in sports.
If you like whole wheat, try Wheat Chex. It's tops, too.
So look for Rice Chex and Wheat Chex in the red and white checkerboard packages, with a picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside.
And the swell Free Space Patrol trading card inside.
Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival. For 1,000 Space Patrol cadets, today marks the beginning of an adventure. These 1,000 cadets have been selected to take part in the annual survival test, to pit their skill and courage against the rigors and problems of outer space and the simulated opposition of an enemy force. Of all the cadets chosen for these tests, it's safe to say that only one is disappointed with the assignment. That solitary individual is Cadet Happy. Glumly, he sits in Commander Corey's central office at Space Patrol headquarters, staring at his special orders.
Oh, all the times for this to happen.
Bad news, Happy?
The worst. I'm on the list for the survival tests. Now I can't go with you to Pluto. Unless you could sort of...
No.
I didn't think you would, sir. Well, it's up to me to take my turn, I guess.
What kind of assignment did you draw, Happy?
A real cream puff deal. Here's what the orders say. Cadet Happy will pilot Scout Ship T-681 to Neptune Moon number 2, landing in Sector D4 at 0800 hours Universal Star Time. Upon landing, the ship will be considered inoperative, including all weapons and spaceophone equipment.
Oh, you're to act as though the ship were knocked out of action.
Yes, sir. And then it says, you will attempt to reach the communications outpost in Sector F9 by 2200 hours without revealing your presence to enemy forces concealed between the two sectors.
Sounds interesting.
Spaceophone silence will be maintained throughout the entire operation. Enemy forces will be provided with special long-range ray guns that will register hits on the sensitized outer coating of the spacesuit. Big deal.
Sounds like fun, huh?
Fun? It's kids' stuff. Here I'll be sneaking around craters playing hide-and-seek with other cadets that are pretending they're the enemy. What's the good of it?
Don't get the idea this is just a game, Happy. You'll be testing new equipment. What you and the other cadets learn in this survival test might easily help to save a life someday.
I suppose so, Commander, but... Gee, if I could go to Pluto with you, I could have some real excitement.
I'm not looking for any big adventure on this trip, Happy.
You're not? But if this Steve Hegdorn is as tough as Morton says he is, and if he's part of the Cobra gang...
If things go the way I plan, Hegdorn won't have time to get tough. You see, when I walk into Hegdorn's office in Pluto City, I'll be in civilian clothes. He'll assume I'm one of Morton's men coming to make the regular protection payoff. When he accepts the money, I'll take it in for extortion.
And maybe get a line on how we can find Gargoth.
Right. By then you'll be through with your survival test, and I promise you that you can help get Gargoth and the rest of his Cobra gang.
Okay, Commander. But I still wish I was going with you instead of to this garden party on Neptune's moon.
The training command doesn't plan garden parties, Hap. These tests are going on all over the solar system. Every detail has been worked out by Space Patrol officers who have been through the mill. You can be sure they've planted some obstacles to take the cockiness out of anyone who doesn't take the test seriously.
Oh, I'll be on the alert, Commander.
Good. Obey every order to the letter. And good luck, Happy.
Thank you, Commander, and same to you.
The Zenith Consultant Service occupies a small suite of offices in the Phobos building in Lowell City on the planet Mars. A curious observer might notice that a peculiar assortment of people pass in and out of the office during the course of a week. But then a consultant service would be expected to welcome various types of people in need of consultation. One would never suspect that the Zenith Consultant Service was a device to hide the operations of a syndicate of criminals, a respectable front for Emil Gargoth, leader of the Cobra gang. At this moment, Gargoth is consulting with Rex Kralin, who has just arrived from Terra.
You're very enterprising, Kralin. But frankly, I don't see how this schedule of Space Patrol survival tests is of any interest to me.
I just thought you ought to know that these cadets are likely to pop up anywhere for the next few days.
What do I care about a lot of rookies? Let them play their games.
But, Mr. Gargoth, there'll be 4 units crawling all over Neptune Moon number 2.
Moon number 2?
Now, look here at Problem 9. They picked an area right near our underground storage station.
All the desolate places in the universe, they had to pick this one.
Of course, the station is well hidden, but just by chance they might stumble across it.
Yes. And we've got thousands of credits worth of stolen goods there.
There might be time to get it off the moon before the Space Patrol tests begin.
I don't have the ships available. What kind of activity is going on in that sector, Kralin?
Here's a chart of the area. The Cadet will start here, at this point. Try to work his way to here. There'll be about 20 men scattered all through here, in the craters, acting as enemy opposition.
Oh, I see. They're chasing all over this region, trying to capture that one cadet.
That's right. Actually, they won't have to capture him to put him out of the game. They've got a special ray gun that projects a pinpoint beam. It's harmless, of course, but it produces a photochemical effect on the spacesuit. The suits in the test have a thin coating sensitive to those particular rays.
All right. If he gets out of the game early, they'll go home. Is that it?
Well, yes, those in that particular problem will.
Then let's hope a dumb cadet draws that sector.
It isn't going to work that way. That assignment goes to Commander Corey's sidekick, Cadet Happy.
Kralin, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. We'll capture Cadet Happy, and then we can make Corey come to terms.
Capture Corey's cadet? But, Mr. Garbutt, that's...
It'll be easy. I'll have a ship drop you off on Neptune's second moon before the cadet gets there. You can grab him before any of the other space patrollers see him.
Me?
Oh, you're the ideal man for the job. You were in the space patrol once, weren't you?
Before I get kicked out.
Here's your chance to get even. Now listen.
Here's the way we'll work.
Those who are forced to deal with Steve Hegdorn on the planet Pluto regard him as a man dangerous to trifle with. Surrounded by brutal thugs, Hegdorn exacts tribute from law-abiding citizens and from lesser racketeers alike. Too intimidated to report to the Space Patrol, his victims continue to pay the increasing demands of Hegdorn. Those who live in dread of Steve Hegdorn would be greatly astonished to learn that there is one man in the universe that Hegdorn fears.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Gargott. Truly I am.
Your being sorry, Hegdorn, doesn't make up for the fact that you're 5,000 credits short.
I know. It's that Morton account. I got my men out now trying to locate Morton. He may have left Pluto City.
That's your problem. I put you in charge of my affairs on Pluto because I thought you could handle things efficiently.
I appreciate that, Mr.
Do you think I have time to get on the space phone to find out why you can't collect from your clients? There's no place in the Cobra gang for incompetence, Hegdorn. If you permit Morton to get away with this, others will try it.
I'll get the 5,000 from Morton, I promise.
And get this, Hegdorn. If the Pluto quota is short by as much as 1 credit next month, you're through. Cobra out.
Oakes, come in here.
Yes, Mr. Hegdorn.
Have you found Morton yet?
No, sir, but the boys...
I'm not interested what the boys think. Find Morton, get that 5,000 credits. There is no place in this organization for incompetence. Now get out.
Elsewhere, a small scout ship has just landed in Sector D4 on Neptune's second moon. Out of the ship steps Cadet Happy in a spacesuit. In his hand, he carries a ray rifle, a harmless training weapon capable only of making a tiny dot on especially sensitized objects. As he walks across the craggy surface of the satellite, Happy reports his actions into a compact micro-tape recorder that's part of his spacesuit paraphernalia.
Cadet Happy assigned to survival test problem 9, Neptune 2. Orders of procedure have been followed exactly. I landed the scout ship in Sector D4 at 0800 hours. It is now 0803. My suit spacephone is turned off. I am now carefully proceeding south by southwest towards Sector E10. So far, no sightings of enemy units. Oxygen pressure normal. External temperature 203 degrees below zero. Internal suit temperature plus 68.
In Pluto City, a studious-looking young man carrying a document case enters the office of Steve Hegdorn. Even Buzz Corey's close associates would have to look twice to recognize the Space Patrol Commander-in-Chief. Not only is he wearing civilian clothes, but he has modified his confident stride and allowed his straight shoulders to assume a scholarly slump. Looking up from his desk, Hegdorn scowls at his visitor in an intimidating manner.
Yes, what is it?
I'm here representing Mr. Morton.
Oh, so you're representing Mr. Morton, huh? You're his lawyer, I suppose.
Not exactly.
Well, if Morton sent you here under the impression that I'll dicker with you over his fees, he's mistaken.
I've got the money here, Mr. Hegdorn.
Oh, well, that's different. Let's have it.
Well, 5,000 credits, isn't it?
That's right. And you can just inform Mr. Morton that he better pay up on time after this.
And here's the money. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, $5,000. Right. Now get out.
I'd like a receipt.
Receipt? I get it. Morton wants to be sure you gave the money to me, huh? All right. I'll just make it out for services rendered to Harvey Morton. There you are.
Thanks. Now, Hegdorn, you're under arrest.
Under arrest? What for?
Extortion and intimidation. Here's my identification.
So you're Commander Corey. I was expecting you, but not till later.
Usually I prefer a more direct approach to criminals, Hegdorn, but you've got your victims so intimidated I had to get evidence on you personally. Come along.
Get him up, Corey. Corey, the man behind you with the ray gun is Bull Oakes. He handles my rougher assignments. I advise you to do as he says. Get him up.
Sure.
Now, boss, help me. Let go of that gun. Hold him out.
Corey's quick as a cat. Nearly broke my arm. You haven't slugged him, Mr.
Stop
Hector.
babbling, Oakes. What kind of a bodyguard are you when I have to rescue you?
How did I know he was going to turn on me?
Keep an eye on him. If he tries to get up, slug him. I'm going to spaceophone the Cobra and tell him I captured Commander Corey.
On Neptune's second moon, Cadet Happy cautiously works his way along the shallow fissure, from time to time reporting his progress and observations into the microtape recorder built into his spacesuit.
08:57 hours. The black shadow of the mountain extends across this fissure 100 yards ahead. When I reach that shadow, I've just sighted an enemy scout. He's coming toward me. Apparently he doesn't see me because he's making no effort to keep covered. He'll be an easy target for the ray rifle. It's a shame not to warn him, but rules are rules.
Look, Cadet, put away that silly ray rifle and get out of that ditch. Your survival test is over.
This must be one of those special obstacles Commander Corey warned me about. This fellow may be an officer trying to trick me into breaking spaceophone silence.
I'm telling you, Cadet Happy, this isn't a game. Maybe this will prove it to you.
Smoking rockets, that was no ray rifle. He's got a real blast gun. That shot chipped off a hunk of rock 3 feet away.
There, Cadet. That ought to prove to you I'm not with the Space Patrol. Your make-believe enemies are 5 miles away. Now throw that useless ray rifle down and come with me. Oh, and if you're wondering what's going to happen to you, well, that's up to the Cobra.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
This is Dick Tufeld in St. Louis reporting on the twin-jet Air Force fighter, the McDonnell Voodoo XF-88A. In a moment, we'll hear from the noted test pilot who flies this plane, Phil Houghton. Speed of the Voodoo is a military secret, but it's plenty fast. Wingspan is 40 feet, length 55, weight 10 tons. And now, Phil Houghton, recorded this morning at Lambert Airfield.
After seeing the Voodoo, I guess you know why I like my job. There's one thing about it, though. A test pilot has to stay in good condition, get lots of sleep, and eat good, healthy food. That's why I like rice checks and wheat checks for breakfast. They've got plenty of energy in them, and they really taste swell. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So do as Phil Houghton, J. Ray Donahue, Jr., and other top test pilots do. Make your cereals rice checks and wheat checks. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival.
Emil Gargoth, leader of the criminal syndicate known as the Cobra Gang, has learned that Cadet Happy is taking part in the Space Patrol survival tests on Neptune's second moon. Knowing that the test rules prohibit the use of suit spaceophones, Gargoth sent one of his men, Rex Kralin, to capture Happy. Armed only with a harmless ray rifle, Happy was powerless to defend himself against Kralin's deadly blast gun and submitted to capture. Meantime, on the planet Pluto, Commander Corey has been overpowered by 2 other members of Gargoth's gang, Steve Hegdorn and Bull Oakes. Right now, Hegdorn is in a private space cruiser, heading sunward from Pluto, with Commander Corey lying on the deck of the control cabin, securely bound.
Hegdorn calling Cobra. Hegdorn aboard cruiser P1822 calling Cobra. Hegdorn here, waiting for further instruction. Come in, Cobra.
Cobra here. Go ahead.
Where do you want me to take Corey?
Send a vector toward Mars. I'll give you further instructions later.
All right, Mr. Garda.
To
Have you got yourself covered back on Pluto?
Sure. I left Oaks there to destroy all our records. Don't worry, there won't be anything to involve you.
See that there isn't.
You can depend on me, Mr. Gorgot. Incidentally, I got that 5,000 credits Morton owed.
Destroy it. You fool, don't you realize Corey marked it so the Space Patrol could trace it?
I guess that's right. Oh, incidentally, Corey's acting pretty stubborn. He says he won't tell you a thing.
Oh, he'll talk all right.
That's what you think, Gorgoth.
For your information, Commander, one of my men has captured Cadet Happy.
You're lying.
Am I? Right now, your cadet is in an underground hideout on Neptune's moon number 2. He was captured during the survival test. He'll talk all right, Corey. Or something very unpleasant will happen to Cadet Happy.
In the Cobra Gang's underground hideout on Neptune number 2, Gargoth's agent Kralin holds Happy at the point of a blast gun. Both men are still in their spacesuits, but with their face pieces open.
So you're one of the Cobra Gang, are you?
That's right, Cadet. My name's Rex Kralin. Gargoth finds my knowledge of the Space Patrol quite useful.
Yeah? How do you know anything about the Space Patrol?
I used to belong to the organization. I was dishonorably discharged when I was unable to explain how some of my buddies' belongings were in my possession.
A thief. A rotten thief.
Where did your honesty get you, Cadet? You're in a hopeless spot. Me, I'm sitting pretty.
Oh, are you? There are 20 space patrollers in this sector of the moon trying to find me. They'll keep searching until they do.
And they're armed with harmless ray rifles. I've got a blast gun.
Cobra to Kralin. Cobra calling Kralin.
Yeah, there's the boss. Now, you stay where you are. Remember, I'm watching you every second. Kralin here. Go ahead, Cobra.
Is everything under control there?
Perfectly, but how do I get off this moon?
Take the cadet and work your way back to Scout Ship B landed in Sector D4. And listen, don't let anything happen to him. I want him back here alive.
Okay, but suppose he gets tough.
Put him to sleep with a cosmic ray gun if you have to. Then carry him to the ship. I want Commander Corey to know the cadet is alive, so we'll do everything to keep him that way.
I get it. When Corey finds out we got the cadet, he'll come to terms.
He already knows it, Kralin. And what's more, we've got Corey, too.
What?
Hagdorn got him on Pluto. Corey's on his way to Mars right now in Hagdorn's cruisers.
Hey, that's great. Now we got... Hey, come back here.
What's the matter?
That cadet made a break for the airlock.
You blundering fool, go after him. You've got to stop him before he gets to the ship.
You aren't so cocky now, are you, Corey? Now that we've got Cadet Happy.
If anything happens to him, Hagdorn, I'll get you and Gorgoth. It's the last thing I do.
The smart thing for you to do is to forget those threats and give Gorgoth the information he wants.
Cobra to Hagdorn. Cobra calling Hagdorn.
Hagdorn here. Go ahead, Cobra.
Quick, Hagdorn. What's your position?
Near the Neptune orbit. Why?
That idiot Kralin let the cadet get away.
What?
As he's out of the hideout and probably headed for the scout ship. How long will it take you to reach Neptune moon number 2?
Oh, I'd say about 15 minutes, maybe less.
Then change your vector. You've got to make sure the cadet doesn't get to that ship.
But, boss, we can't land a ship there during those survival tests. Those space patrollers will spot us.
No, they won't break space phone silence except in an emergency. And by the time they realize there is an emergency, the cadet will be finished.
What do you mean?
The cadet won't surrender to Kralin and blast him with the space torpedo. Get away before those men on maneuvers know what happened.
Listen to me, Gorgoth. If anything happens to
You listen to me, Corey. Want to save the cadet, do what I tell you. Get on the space phone and order Happy to surrender to Kralin. Understand?
All right, Gorgoth.
Hagdorn, switch to the space patrol frequency. I'm sure Corey will tell you how.
Okay, Mr. Gorgoth.
And watch him. Don't let him try any tricks. Cobra out.
All right, Corey. What's the frequency?
672.3 megacycles.
Stand up, then. I'll set it. Go ahead.
Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy. Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy on Neptune number 2. Happy, disregard previous orders. You can break spacephone silence. Happy, can you read me?
Cadet Happy here, Commander.
This is urgent, Hap. Gargoth's men have orders to keep you from reaching the scout ship.
I know. One of his gang is right behind me with a blast gun.
Better surrender. There's nothing else you can do.
But, Commander, I've got to reach that ship. I'm low on oxygen. In 5 minutes, all the air will be gone. Kralen's firing at me.
Hit the dirt, Hap.
That's enough, Corey.
Darn you dirty rat, if my hands weren't tied.
Go ahead. Pull. Pull on those ropes. They'll only get tighter. Go ahead. Pull. You can't break them.
So I couldn't break them. Don't reach for that gun. I said don't reach for it. Just lie there and don't cause any trouble. I'm going to get this ship to Neptune number 2.
With his oxygen supply getting lower with every breath, Cadet Happy crawls across the rough, barren rocks of Neptune's second moon, trying to keep within the inky black shadows. Steadily, Rex Kralin advances toward him, blast gun in hand. A few hundred yards away, the scout ship rests where Happy landed it many hours before. A few steps more, and Kralin stands over the exhausted cadet. Carefully, Kralin adjusts the power control of his spacesuit transmitter, limiting it to the range of less than 50 feet.
I heard what you told the commander. Your oxygen is about gone. You'll never be able to make it to the ship under your own power, so I'm going to have to carry you. You hear me? Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to turn your transmitter volume down, just in case. If you're hoping any of your pals on maneuvers are going to come to your rescue, forget it. Even with you on my back, I can make it to the ship in a few minutes. Now, look, Cadet, you're about gone. So don't try to give me any trouble when I lift. Oh, okay. All right, now. Hey, where's that light coming from? A spaceship. A private cruiser. That must be Hectorn. And he's looking for us. This is a break. I won't have to lug you to the scout ship after all. Look at him come. Hectorn sure knows how to handle the ship. Nice landing. It's only a few yards to the cruiser. Think you can walk it with a little help? I'll try. Now, come on your feet. This is a break. Now we won't have to worry about having to get rid of that scout ship. Well, the hatch is opening. Say, Hectorn's coming to help me. Hectorn, can you read me? Hectorn, use your spaceophone. It's okay. There's nobody within 5 miles of us. That's not Hectorn. That's right, Kralin. Commander! I'm warning you, Commander. Don't come any closer. The cadet gets in charge from this blast gun.
Kralin, listen. We've got to get Happy into the ship. He's nearly out of oxygen.
The decision is up to you, Commander. Let me get to the cruiser, then you get the cadet to the scout ship.
Can't you see there isn't time?
And it's just too bad for the cadet. I'll finish you with a blast gun if you take another step. Cadet, let go of me.
Drop that gun, Kralin. I've got a sharp sliver of rock in my glove. How would you like to have it jammed into your spacesuit?
Let go of me.
Drop the gun, or you'll be in the same fix I am.
You haven't the strength left.
Give me that gun, Kralin.
All right, I'll get Happy to the cruiser. Go on, pick him up. Sure, okay. I'll get moving.
Inside the cruiser, Happy quickly revives. With a fresh oxygen bottle attached to his spacesuit, he helps Commander Corey transfer Kralin and Hectorn to the scout ship. Now, with Happy at the controls, they've just blasted off from Neptune's second moon and are headed for Terra with their 2 prisoners.
Either of them will talk, Happy. We know Gargoth was in Lowell City on Mars.
Yeah, the brainograph will clear that up.
Yes, but too late.
How do you mean, sir?
Corbett calling Hectorn. Corbett to Hectorn. Corbett to Kralin. Kralin! Either of you answer immediately.
That's what I mean. Gargoth won't wait around long enough to find out what happened to his
Kralin!
man.
Hectorn! I suppose you're listening, Corey. Well, I don't suppose I'll be hearing from Kralin and Hectorn. So would you please inform them that their services are no longer required? Cobra out.
Are you going to answer him, sir?
Not now. What I have to say to Gargoth, I'll say to his face, and that day will come sooner than he thinks.
Yes, sir. Smoking rockets.
What's the matter, huh?
I never did get to that communications outpost. I flunked the survival test.
Oh, I'm sure you can prove you passed it.
I can? How?
The best proof in the universe. You're alive.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. How will you have the Space Patrollers? Out of the bowl with cream and sugar, or out of the box for snacks? Well, in case you haven't guessed, I'm talking about rice checks and wheat checks. Tops any way you eat 'em, any time you eat 'em. Tops 3 ways. 1 for taste, 2 for size, 3 for get up and go. Rice checks. Triple golden toasted shredded rice biscuits. Hollow inside so they fill right up with milk or cream and plenty luscious eating. Wheat checks.
Good whole wheat, super rich in action energy. The kind of action energy that made Buzz Corey Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. Oh, you'll love Wheat Chex from the first to the last delicious bite. And remember, gang, Chex are made in that modern, bite-sized design for the easiest, breeziest, tastiest eating ever. So, Space Patrollers, this morning, tomorrow morning, every morning, have yourself a good, nourishing Space Patrol breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex in the red and white checkerboard packages with the full-color picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the neat, free Space Patrol trading card inside. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, tops for taste, tops for size, tops for get up and go. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are trying to escape from a mansion on the planet Venus, where they're held prisoners by Emil Gargoth, leader of the Cobra Gang. Suddenly, Happy moves toward a large cabinet and opens it.
Wow, is this a break, Commander? Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Happy.
Something just made me go to this cabinet, a real strong hunch.
No, Hap, take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm not arguing, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoth?
All right, it doesn't matter. Let's get careful, Happy. You're pointing the gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
I'm trying to. Commander, my finger is squeezing the trigger, and I can't stop it.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Secret of Dr. Borodeck, when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Bela Kovach, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program in your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.